Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okie dokie. Smokey. Okay. It begins. Let's take a look here. Let's get my open phone going. Fupa Boy says, hey. Hello. Bobro says, here. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We just started. Let me make sure. Okay, that looks good. It's compiling shaders. All right. I'm letting my hair grow out long. I'm just going to let it grow long. What do you guys think? Eventually, I'll look like Jesus. What do you guys think? Good idea? Look like Jesus? Compiling. Shader, shader, shader. Let's see. Fupa Boy says, I saw your chat. Say you're in it. What? Bobro says, one of my friends that I've been helping out a lot for like the past month gave me a PS3 and they had lying about and that no one wanted to buy. Not Jesus, Fabio. That's hilarious. Let's see here. Bobro says, not Jesus, but his less famous cousin, Jesus. Pronounced Jesus. All right. Why is this shader taking so long to compile? Well, we are taking calls. If you want to call in, you can. I know the show hasn't officially started, but I'll take your call. Why not? In fact, oh wow, look at that. We're on our 201st video. 201. Man. Man. I'm going to take all of my current videos and move them into the 100 to 200 videos. Oh, shoot. I'll probably do that later. Let's see, 201. Okay. I'm going to call this one 201. It's a new day. EmperorFatassDogs says, I think I'm woke now. Are you woke? Have I made you woke? Have we finally wokeified Fat Ass Dogs? If so, that sounds awesome. That sounds great. We should do more of that. Okay. Wow. My cat is meowing at me. All right, let's play some games. Bobro says, doubt it, but it would be lovely. Emperor Fat Ass Dog says, in fact, I'm going to use all my time and energy to get Joe Biden reelected as president of the United States. Well, I don't think he's running, so I think you'd be wasting your time there. Let me see. Is it dark out? It's not that dark out. Maybe a little bit. Here, I'll just keep this on. It's fine. We are taking calls 202-998-5218. You want to call in? Let's have a discussion. I'm right here. I want to hear out what you have to say. Let's take a look here. 7 meters. Okay, so we're just gonna plant the explosives. I hope you do not mind. To be honest, though, Donald Trump is really old. The idea that Donald Trump is running in 2028, I find difficult to imagine, even with all of the unprecedented actions that have happened. Like, assume he has full intent to run a third, and then every single check and balance has been completely incapable of stopping Donald Trump. And then he successfully tries to run for a third time. Dude, how old would he be? This dude would be like 1,000. Like, what are we even talking about? Let me see here. Oh no. I wonder if it's possible to join the monolith.
I think the explosion was only on my end. Why didn't it go off outside? There were complications. I've got a new mission for you. Find Faust. There's a group of monolithians on the roof of the comm center. Check it out. I'll handle the second batch. Load it up.
Okay. Find Faust at the comm center. Let's see. EmperorFatassDogs says he's not running in 2028. The Constitution won't allow it. I mean, the Constitution also says that you need to have due process for all people. And we're currently not doing that. So whatever the Constitution says seems to be kind of a bit of a farce. In fact, they could just write on a piece of paper, hey, ICE agents can just deport you without due process. And that's constitutional. That's unironically what was done. They're just like, hey, by law, that's an enemy. But can I kill him without... Well, I'm going to awake literally everybody. Look, there's one here. Bloop. How did he not notice that? Do I have too much? Nope, I'm good. I'm good in the neighborhood. There's like an entire area underground. Heck yeah. Alright, let's keep going. How dark is it here? Relatively. I'm surprised they didn't hear us. Rowdy Proudy says, technically deportation is a legal proceeding. It is a legal proceeding that is not due process. Those are different things. Like getting stopped by the cops is a legal proceeding. I don't know. Literally anything to do with law would be a legal proceeding. That's a very low bar, Rowdy. Might be going off of standards set by the Obama administration. The administration that was set by ICE officials or that was set by ICE was because of the Trump administration. It was not because of the Obama administration. Now, if you want to talk about the bombing of children in the Middle East, well, yes, Obama did do that. But I don't claim to like one person just because they're a Democrat or a Republican. I'm able to just look at it as is and then just tell you how it is. Like, they act like that you have to be like on a particular team no matter what. And if somebody does a bad thing on your team, you just like act like that it's not a thing. When it's like, you could just easily acknowledge, yeah, that's a thing. And man, that's messed up. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Donald Trump going in and wanting to revoke due process for illegal immigrants is insane. It's totally unconstitutional. It's wrong. It's not right at all. Let's see here. Where's the... I'm just collecting loot. Don't mind me. Just collecting the loot. They can't see me. EmperorFatassDogs says Obama has deported more people than any other president, and he did have good immigration policies during his presidency compared to other presidents. Yes, that's another area of Obama's presidency that I did not like. All things considered, though, if you think about it, Obama was a much better president than Donald Trump. It's not even close. We do not have to sit there and compare one and the other, right? We know that one of them is obviously better in every way, shape, or form. How can they see me? How can they see me? This gun hits really freaking hard. Hi. Let's see. Fupa Boy says, should migrants that are caught at the border crossings also get due process if they make it into U.S. territory? Yes. Yes. That's how that works. Or at least typically how that works. Yes, you get due process to determine whether or not that you've broken the law, and then they can deliberate based on the law. This is to ensure that you aren't deporting people who could be citizens of your country. Right? We are taking... Where's my phone number? There's my phone number. We are taking calls. Phone number is 202-998-5218. Call in. Call in. I'm so sorry. I removed the number for a moment because I had a debate with Fight the Flat Earth. He was on my side. And then I debated two religious zealots. And I had to remove that phone number. But if you want to call in, have a discussion, let's do it. The phone number is 202-998-5218. Debate a woke liberal. Come on, let's see here. Where's the... Whoop. These guys are just getting knocked off one at a time. This is gorgeous. Can I just say night vision is overpowered as long as they don't have night vision? Night vision OP. Well, I don't Obama now because he completely flip-flopped his immigration policy, says EmperorFatassDogs. I want to just be clear, right? The idea of flip-flopping, I think we're looking at it wrong. I think if somebody changes their opinion on something or changes their policy on the basis of evidence, that is a sign of strength. However, most people, what they would do is say that that's flip-flopping. You're not consistent. Okay, great. But what do you do in instances when you learned some new information? Like, do you just dig your heels in like a moron? Or do you change your position? By that metric, every moron would be consistent, right? Because only morons don't change their opinion despite the fact of new evidence shedding some light. Intelligent people look at evidence and then, when presented with the evidence, change their opinions based on the new evidence. But to an average person, I guess that comes out, oh, it's just a flip-flopper. I mean, I just disagree with that fundamentally. I think you should change your opinion with new evidence. And I guess that would make me a flip-flopper by that metric, right? We are taking calls, 202-998-5218. If you want to call in, we can have a discussion. Let's do it. If you like what I have to say, or maybe you're just here to hate watch me, consider subscribe. I'm a very small YouTuber, so any amount really, really counts. It super does. Heck, if I even get one subscriber today, just one, that's a victory in my book. That was a successful stream in my book. Let's take a look here. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Oh, I forgot to tell everybody that I'm streaming. I'm sorry. That's a victory. Oops, sorry. You probably heard that. Let me go here and let everybody know that I'm streaming. At everyone. Streaming live. There we go. Fupa Boy says I am already subscribed. Sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. I do. I really do. Thank you. Any amount counts. It counts. Oh, was that? Oh boy. Well, that's not good. That looked like Faust. We got a Faust fight coming up. This is a nasty fight, by the way. This room has got to be dark. Yeah, it's not that dark. It's a little dark. It's pretty dark. Cal Crapper says, hey, folks, what are we playing? Stalker 2? Yep, that's exactly what we're playing. Stalker 2. It's a great game. Fun game. Can't go wrong. We are taking calls as well. The phone number is 202-998-5218. If you want to have a discussion with a bona fide soy boy liberal. I need to shoot that thing. Come on, remove that. All right. There, it's done. Cal Crapper says, very nice. Very good, very good. Yes. I'm just rolling along. Honestly, this game is very good when it comes to like the gun mechanics, like the way that reloads work. It's very nice. Very realistic, the way it handles things. It's pretty cool. What? That's not Faust. That's not Faust. There's no way that's Faust. I'll keep on rolling along, though. There he is. He's upstairs. Oh man, I know that this boss fight sucks. Ugh. This boss fight is gonna suck. Breathe. Just breathe. Breathe. We are taking calls. 202-998-5218. I don't want to do this Faust fight. This Faust fight sucks. This Faust fight sucks. Alright. That's 4. We're going to get shot from every frickin' direction. Alright, that's done. It's a Rubik says, "Hey!" At Bobro, probably the best in my lifetime. Rubiks, can you call in? Can you call in? Would you be able to call in on the show? I need to talk to you. Genuine question. And if so, then I screwed up. I have a question to determine whether or not I screwed up on something. There is a non-zero chance that I did screw up on something, and so I want to tie up some loose ends, whatever it could be. It's nothing you did, by the way, Rubiks. You didn't do anything. It's me. It's me. It's always me. It's never someone else. All right, come on. There's too many of these Faust characters. I have to destroy all of these if I plan on. All right. All right, I think we're good there. So where... Oh, phone call. You're on the line with First Amender.
Hi, this is Rubiks.
Hey, Rubiks. All right. So I wanted to clear something up. Let me see if I can find it here. So, all right, a user by the name of Snaketheturbanhead had said to me that, let's see here, that he was the one that set up that debate with Fight the Flat Earth as my partner. He said that
yeah, that's Snake, yeah.
Is that the case?
Yes.
All right, so I did screw up. Yeah. So I was like, I thought it was Rubiks that set it all up.
Well, I set it up, but he kind of put it in motion. I helped tie all the pieces together.
Wow.
There's a bit of both of us. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I was like, I thought that was Rubiks. I thought Rubiks was the one that contacted me, and then we, made things happen. And, so Snake, they responded to me. They said, where was it? Hold on. Let me see here. Hold on a sec. Give me a sec. Yeah, this is what they said. They said, "Thanks for giving me the shout out that you did not do for making that debate happen with you and Fight the Flat Earth versus Tillman and Josh Monday." And I was like, I was positive that it was Rubiks that did it, but no, it turns out I'm the bad guy.
Yeah, so he kind of found the two opponents and recommended you.
Okay.
So it's a little bit of both of us, but he helped find the two people to debate. kind of thing. And I just kind of
All right, here we go.
tied the
bad.
pieces together.
I'm gonna respond to Snake and just let him know, like, hey, dude, you definitely did do that.
Yeah. So.
Hold on. Sorry, just give me a second.
Take your time. That was a dumpster fire, wasn't it?
I was astonished. I was astonished that guy, that preacher, he made an argument for that Deuteronomy verse. I couldn't believe it. I was wide-eyed. I was like, no freaking way. Did you see that?
Same. Yes, I was there. Yeah.
Oh my God. Psychotic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it was just a wild moment. I was like, no freaking way that he thought that. There's no way. I don't believe it. I was like, there's no way he would say.
Old Testament.
What's that?
Most of it, that's the Old Testament.
Yeah, I know. And it's such an easy out to just say, well, that's Old Testament. It's not relevant. He could have just said that, and then that would have been the end of of that whole argument. But he leaned right into it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
This is wild.
Same.
Anyway. Well, thank you for setting that up, though. And
yeah.
I should also thank Snaketheturbanhead, because I did not shout him out at all. I assumed that it was all you. So I didn't need.
No, he did definitely help.
Okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll add him in the description or whatever socials he want. You know, I don't know. Hopefully that'll be okay. If not, I have to mention it. I'll probably mention it again or something. I don't know. All right.
Yeah, my bad. So.
No, it's not your bad. It's my bad. I screwed up. I'm the idiot.
Yep. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you. That's it.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.
You have a great day. God, I'm such a moron. All right. Rubiks. That was cool. Bobro says, Amender, do better. All right. Back to it. Back to this game. We got to find Faust. He's throwing a grenade at me. The Dingleberry. Where is he? This is not an easy fight, by the way. Great. He does C damage. Fun. This fight sucks. And he takes multiple headshots. This is not a good fight. Bobro says, I hate my Dollar General. It says it's hiring, but I checked the website and the one near me never has job openings. Dang. All right, let me see if I can throw a grenade at this guy, because he's just got a lot of health. Really, dude? All right, come on. No! Died. I'm gonna die so much. I'm gonna die so much, dude. I'm gonna die a lot. Bobro says, Hogwarts Legacy is on sale on Steam, 85% off. All right. I'm going to say something that's going to make everybody mad at me. So a regular stream emitter? Oh crap, I have to start the show. Show. Start the show. Start the event. Bloop. All right, let's see. There's no way Daniel Hume can hear me. Show more. Daniel, can you hear me? 0 chance. Daniel, are you there? Let me quit Discord. Gotta quit Discord and. All right. Reconnect. Where is it at? Stage. Speak on stage. Reconnected. Hello.
And I can hear you.
How are you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing fine. Relaxing, chilling, waiting for you to come.
All right.
How are you doing?
I was about to mention something that will piss literally everybody off. Literally everybody.
Okay.
I don't like Harry Potter.
It's fine. I don't care. I think it's fine. It's not the best.
I don't think it's written well. I think it's written like crap.
There's a lot of plot holes in Harry Potter. I do agree.
Well, it's not even like, I don't know, like
sense.
Okay, all right. Here, let me tell you something, okay? So, for starters, right? Harry he's a Mary Sue.
Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? Do you know what a Mary Sue is?
I mean, I think I know what a Mary Sue is.
It's a character that can like do no wrong and is just successful.
Yeah. Yeah, but
you
it's
know, like the whole thing is just that.
Sense. Because you know what? You know why?
Yeah, he is because he's in like I don't know, poor. Like he's a family that's like mistreating him, abusing him, and there he is. He goes off to another world, and he's got I don't know, parents that loved him and left him like so much money, and he's just successful at everything. And is just like super good at magic. What's he bad at?
Everything. That's the thing. I mean, remember when Hermione was like kind of like, he wasn't really good at doing magic, right? And she was always like his better, right? And she was always like trumping everything he did because she was just like studious. Like she liked to study the arts, whereas he just relied on his like innate ability to do shit.
Yeah.
So the only reason I'm saying it's not a Mary Sue is like for those moments where he's literally like
where he shows some level of weakness to some extent. I don't know. Maybe. So, okay. Right. Hear me out. Right. This is the dumbest writing of all time. This is clearly coming from somebody who who has never watched any sports whatsoever. So you've got Quidditch, right? Where they're just like...
sport doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, so for starters, they're just like, all right, so it's basically soccer, but you're instead on a broom. And also, this game is like really, really, really dangerous. Like super crazy dangerous. But okay, we're just going to ignore that because wizards, I guess. And then secondly, you could throw the ball into like a goal and you could get like a point. But also over here on the other whatever, it's 50 points if you catch a Quidditch.
Yes. Which also doesn't. I mean, dude, like the whole thing, the whole premise doesn't make any sense, right?
Okay,
Because
what
you
is
could have a shit team where the one guy that's following the Quidditch is just really good, right? He's just better than everybody else.
Yeah, and then like that's the game. Like the game, like there's no reason to have dumb goals if like the Quidditch is worth like what is it, 50 or 100 points? Like
I mean, I don't know,
what?
it's kind
That
of
is
like just, you know,
that is
you win game,
absurdly
basically.
high. That is absurdly high. Like you gotta get like 100 freaking goals to match one Quidditch.
I mean, look, it's like if a goal was like a point, but the Quidditch would be like 5 points.
Yeah,
Right?
well that
Which
would
also
that would
be kind of like absurdly high, right?
kinda. Yeah, it would. But like at least it would be like, okay, we got a game.
Yeah, because it's, you know, it's really hard to catch. So it's
You
like
know?
if you catch, maybe you know,
Yeah.
you get like a slight advantage. You know, maybe you're behind like 3 points, and with this thing, you're kind of like ahead by 2 points.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah,
it's the
but
same thing
yeah.
with like I don't know, like in NFL football. Do you ever watch NFL football? Have you
Not
ever
really.
seen? No, okay, that's fine.
Not really.
It's okay. Well,
I mean, I
field-
watch. I like rugby.
yeah.
If
So
you-
for
and I know they're like pretty close.
yeah, so for field goals, you've got 3 points for a field goal, and for a touchdown, it's 6. Right? It's like a lot of extra
Yeah.
points. You know, if you can manage to get, you know, a touchdown, and why? Because touchdown's really hard to get. You know, and it makes sense that you have, you know, field goal versus. Anyway, 100 points. Hold on. Am I getting
Yeah,
it? Am I getting
makes
that
no
number
sense.
correct? I'm gonna Google that. Hold on.
I don't know. I think, look, if I remember correctly, I think if you're catching it, I think you're just winning the game or something.
Hold on. Let me see.
I don't know. Maybe it is a 50 points or whatever, but nobody's scoring 50 points in a game. Like it is, because it's impossible. Also, I never.
Sorry.
Really
Okay. All right.
understood-
Hold on. Here we go. All right. I just gotta make sure we get
go
it
ahead.
right, Because all the freaking Harry Potter people are just
That
gonna
is
get.
true, you're gonna get eviscerated. yes.
They're gonna. Hold on. God, this is stupid. Oh my God. Ah, God. Wait, there's an actual. Oh my God, I hate this. All right. Apparently, there's actual Quidditch that people play, and they balanced.
I am
the
going
numbers.
To assume, yeah,
I
I'm
hate
going
that.
To assume it's not flying on brooms, though.
Okay, hold on. So, I'm looking for it. Hold on. Quidditch. Hold on. Quidditch rules in the books. Rules in the book. All right. I'm trying to find the correct. I just. It's getting completely. There's like actual.
Well, I mean, dude, people are gonna do anything, okay?
I can't.
Oh no, the golden
find,
snitch. Okay,
I can't find it. I can't find the numbers without
I found it. I
referencing
found it.
the actual
found it.
Quidditch sport.
Yeah, no. So like, I found like the.
All right, hold on. I
Wait, people actually pretend they're flying on brooms.
Yes.
in this game.
I'm
I
looking
cannot
at
believe this. I just saw it. I'm sorry, but it's just like
this
just
is so
baffles me.
cringy.
Dude, it's so cringe. It's, I mean,
It's so
literally, it's all. I cannot believe this.
Listen,
game is
I'm
played
not
by
gonna knock on-
anybody other than virgins.
Yeah,
okay?
listen, I'm not gonna knock on it. Okay, I can't. Who am I? Who am I to yuck someone's yum? Never mind. Okay, so in the Harry Potter books, Quidditch is played by 2 teams of 7 on flying brooms. Teams score by getting the quaffle through the hoops, and it's 10. You get 10 points per goal. And at the end of having one of the 2 seekers catch the golden snitch, which is worth 150 points. Also,
Which is
oh
like
my
15
God.
goals.
And it instantly ends the game.
Yes. Unless they're behind by more than 150 points though. Right? So there's some hint of like fairness. Right? Like
It
a sniff
instantly hits
of
the
fairness.
key. All right, obviously, these rules are written in such a way that Mary sues Harry. That's why it's like this. It's like, hey,
course, yeah.
what are you, Harry? Oh, me. My position is the guy that has to catch the Quidditch. Is that what they are?
No, it's the golden snitch. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
it's
the
called.
golden.
The
I'm saying
golden
like who the
snitch.
player.
I
the
mean, I
one
don't know
that
the
catches.
positions' names.
I don't know.
Also, there's no.
Oh yeah, he's a seeker.
like,
He's a seeker.
There's no referees. There's no
He's the-
referees
he's the-
there. Like people just hurt each other.
They just beat the crap out of one another.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's normal. It's like, this is Sunday. Like,
Anyway, so I'm just like I'm like this writing is just dog ass. This is just terrible.
Kinda.
It's not good. It's not written well.
It's not.
Like I just like here's the thing, right? You're like, oh, this is like for kids. Fair enough. This is like a kids thing. So is The Hobbit. The Hobbit is written excellent.
Is it though? I don't think The Hobbit is for
Yes,
kids.
it's for
Come on,
kids.
it's not for kids.
The Hobbit?
There's too much violence. Yeah,
What?
There's too much violence in The Hobbit. Yeah.
What violence is in The Hobbit?
People still die, man. In The Hobbit.
The War of the Five
they
Armies?
also die like Hansel and Gretel, I'm
Yeah,
saying,
so?
yeah. I don't know. It's like people die. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to defend like a kid's book. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you like
I know
Lord
there's
of
a
the
lot
Rings?
kids that like. I love Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
I'm like a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I'm like a psychopath when it comes to
I mean, not that.
the
hard.
Lord of the. I love it, dude. I freaking love it, dude. You have no idea. My love for the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and the Silmarillion is insane. It's actually nuts.
But on one hand, it's like I did read Lord of the Rings, but I never read any of the Harry Potter books. I only watched the movies.
But by the way, we are taking calls. Phone number is 202-998-5218. This is a little bit of a side tangent, but I am ready to talk whatever politics you want to talk about, whatever economics, whatever, LGBT issues. Maybe you're pro-God. I'm not pro-God. I'm an anti-God kind of guy. I don't believe in any religion at all. I'll hear you out. I'll hear out what you got to say. Let's have the discussion. Let's do what Charlie Kirk would have wanted, which is to have the discussion, I guess. Sure.
Don't you mean shit on kids in colleges
Yeah, I don't.
that don't know anything about anything?
Yeah,
Make a
well,
mistake.
I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to be nice, right? You can be the mean one, right?
Yes, I'm gonna be the mean one. It's all good.
Did you watch the debate where I was there with Fight the Flat Earth?
No, it's in my list. I was pretty busy these days.
My dude.
The final
My
days of
dude.
like the whole thing with my job, and yes, I did put it on my to-do list.
My dude.
How was it? Okay, if there's spoilers, don't give me spoilers, please. 'Cause I
Yeah,
still
I'm not.
want to
I'm not
watch
gonna
it.
give you spoilers. You just gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
Okay.
You have to. The whole my video, the 2 hours, I edited out the kind of nothing happening moments and just left in the debate as is. So my video is superior in every way. Also, it plays Oblivion Town music. Better without.
Royalty free on YouTube too.
Is that royalty free?
Thanks.
So I'd
think
never
so.
get copyright strucken for
No,
video
it's
game music.
Yeah. Most video games music, especially like modern, they're made with this thing in mind.
That's
right?
good.
Because they don't want their creators, right, to kind of be fucked by
Yeah.
copyright strikes.
Yeah. It's a Rubik says it was an epic dumpster fire. It was. It really was a dumpster for them, by the
Really
way.
worth it.
It was probably about as definitive of a defeat as you can imagine. Like, I don't think anybody... Dude, Faust is just doinking me, dude. Faust is... this. Dude, are you seeing this? Are you seeing what I'm doing? Do you see this? This is awful. Come on. He's got to die. He's got to die. He's got to die. He just refuses to die.
Life or something. Oh my god! And you have a magnum too.
It hits hard.
God.
I swear it hits hard.
Okay. Oh my god! You're dying. Don't die.
I'm trying.
Die.
What?
Be like Jesus. Don't die.
It's fine. It's a really
So,
strong
you
magnum.
Only have like you only have like the magnum or what?
Well, I have other guns. It's just I think this is the best choice
Really?
given the
Okay.
scenario. That's him.
I'm just saying, it's like maybe it's not very
one with the
accurate 'cause you
lantern
only
is
have
him.
the iron sights.
All right, fine. Fine. Fine.
Well, I mean, accuracy can trump like a lot of things.
Oh, it's a rubiks has just become a member level soy boy supporter. Let's go.
It's a Rubik's.
Appreciate that. We are taking calls, by the way. 202-998-5218. Is the call thing working? We haven't gotten a call yet.
I don't know.
I'm waiting for the calls. Joachim says, but you are a lefty, so you support them? What? Bobro says, come on, Amender, get good. Man, even Bobro's doinking on me.
Yeah, he's learning from me.
By the way, all the Fausts are fake with the exception of the one holding the lantern. Also, he can do that where he hits you with C energy, which is fun. That's always fun.
Or like psionic powers. Okay, I get it. It's
Yep.
magic.
Yep, magic, pretty much.
Oh my god, that was a good headshot.
Yeah, but he's going to keep on coming up to me like this. Like, yeah, you see that? I mean, you just... See, the problem is that this gun hits really, really hard. Really hard. Right? And I also have a lot of ammo. So it actually would work out in my favor.
Oh my god. These guys are just relentless. Holy moly.
Yep. Lord Pinch says you have to hit his lantern? Is that true?
Oh, dude. Yeah. I think, I mean, it would make sense.
Is that true?
I think it would make sense to hit his lantern. Yes.
Not his head? Okay. All right. I'm going to hit his lantern. Coming right up.
Maybe like his lantern is like the source of his power.
I'm trying. I'm trying to hit it. It takes a few shots, though, so... This sucks. This sucks. This sucks.
It really does. Oh my god, they're so slow. Like, oh my god.
I am almost out of health. Oh my god! Please!
With a fucking lantern. Can't you just like run up to him and just grab the fucking lantern out of his hands?
It's a Rubik's as if you tried
would
not
be
getting
nice.
hit. Thanks, Rubik's.
There you go. You see?
Real
He just
supporter.
only came and he already knows how to do
Which
it.
says,
He
Amender,
already
what is your
knows. I
email?
appreciate it.
Firstamender@gmail.com. That's public information. 1stAbender@gmail.com. We are taking calls. Phone numbers 202-998-5218. Call in. Let's have a discussion. You want to debate the soy boy liberal? I'm right here. I want to hear you out. I do. I really do.
I wanted to ask you a question, Amanda.
What you got?
How do you feel about the America First policy?
Idiotic. Horrible.
Happening in your
Makes
country.
society
What do you-
worse.
What? You don't like South
No.
America or what?
You're good. You're funny. Yeah. as if they're talking about South
'cause, you know,
America
it's
when
like
they
I
say
love
America
when
first.
you know it's America first. Yeah, that's South America, right? That's what he's talking about. Because I
Yeah, both
I hear that
both of my parents came from Chile, so I got this lesson.
I know. So I like how Trump is giving Argentina $20 billion, which is, by the way, it's like it's just free money. Like literally, they don't need to.
Well, they
present
gave
any
him
guarantee.
20.
They don't have to anything about it.
They gave him $20 billion because they like Javier Milei and his libertarian ideas, which is insanely hilarious, especially considering, what was it that Trump himself tried to get the libertarian vote? Did I win?
Oh yeah.
I won!
Dude,
You are supposed to hit the lantern.
Yeah.
Thank
there
you.
You go.
I did not know that. I would have been there for a really long time. In fact, the last time I fought him, I did just give him nothing but headshots.
Look, that's why it's good to have a member that actually knows how to play games, right? So they can help you this way.
Daniel,
So you should say.
I don't appreciate
Thank
the
you.
way that you're talking to me.
I was congratulating to Rubiks because without him you would still be stuck on this level.
We are, yes, thank you, Rubiks. We are taking calls. Phone number is 202-988-5218. You want to call in? Let's have a discussion. I want to debate you. I want to hear out what you have to say. You could discuss with the soy boy liberal, whatever you like. We could, for example. Oh, sorry. No, Lord Pinch says, "Hey, yo, stealing my cred." It was Lord Pinch that said it.
It was Lord Pinch? Oh my God. Okay,
Yes, it was
I'm
Lord
fully
Pinch.
Sorry.
Yeah. There we can here. Tell you what. Why don't we pull up some news? We're gonna try to wet our whistle. We're gonna wet our. Yeah, there we go. See, I just needed to wait long enough.
There you go.
There we go. You're on the line with First Amender.
Where's a fucking number?
Hello.
What's up, buddy? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What's your name?
Right on. You already know me. I'm nobody.
Nobody. What you want to talk about? Nobody.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
you already know. Frankly, every time I call you, I'm a little bit intoxicated, if you hadn't noticed.
Yeah. Are you intoxicated now?
Slightly, not as much as I have been in the past.
Okay.
Frankly, dude, I wanted to kind of mend some fences here. You and I have seen eye to eye on a couple of huge issues.
Uh-huh.
Do you recall in the past how we've done that?
Just talking, I think.
Yeah, just, you and I remember our seeing eye to eye on abortion, even though maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, perhaps you didn't see it exactly my way, but I think that as atheists, you and I can agree that to limit human suffering, abortion is necessary.
You're saying to reduce human suffering.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Right. Yeah, so to refine what you're talking about, what I had proposed is that abortion is to agree to disagree with the right wingers. Abortion is an abomination. It should not be happening. That's my stance. It should not be happening. If we lived in a better world, abortion shouldn't be a thing. Correct? In a perfect world.
Well, I think like people's access to healthcare would be a part of a perfect world. So that would lead fundamentally, because having a baby isn't always opportune. nor is it the best
Right.
outcome, nor does that mean that like everybody should be having babies. Like there's probably very specific scenarios, both from a medical
you're
aspect to
absolutely
a
right.
to a social aspect, that I think
Right.
women, in order to have ownership over their own bodies, need to have the ability to terminate a pregnancy if they wanted.
Right. Well, see, here's where I go on the offensive. That is, it's not even the right wing position or your position. I go a step above. I say that you should have to take a cognitive test before you can have a child.
No, I would not agree with that.
Yeah, that's well. See, here's where we disagree. See, well, I suppose that if I say that you should have to take a cognitive test in order to reproduce, to make sure that society is going to be successful, then I suppose that I'm kind of taking an ultra-right position that, well, not even that, not even ultra-right, because the ultra-right wants to force as many lives into this reality as they can possibly get. But your position is limit human suffering with abortion. Abortion limits human suffering. It's not about forcing as many lives into this reality as you can, because you realize that not every single one of those lives is going to benefit society or even have a good life. Correct?
I mean, yeah, I'd probably look at it more towards the individual, in that the individual would not live a good life, and it also deprives individuals of their ability to exist later on and likely have better outcomes.
Right. Well, see, here I'm kind of pushing it even further than both of you and the right. I'm saying that people should be tested to even own a pet.
That's weird.
Let alone have a child. They should be tested. They should have to
For a pet?
pass a certain cognitive test. Even a pet, yes.
Why?
To avoid animal cruelty.
How would you be able to
just the
determine
same as
animal
to
cruelty
avoid
versus like not?
cruelty.
Like I feel like people would just be able to answer some questions, and really hard to like kind of tamper that.
A cognitive test is an open-ended suggestion. You're not.
So like if they're like
you're not
low IQ,
evaluating
we
what
get
I
rid of
mean.
it. No pets because you're low IQ.
Well, hang on. You're getting ahead of me. I'm saying that a cognitive test, a standardized test, based on logic and reality itself, to be determined, TBD. But I'm just saying that idea itself. I'm not saying what the test should be, so you can't judge what the test is because I haven't established that, so you can't argue with that. But I'm simply saying that in order to benefit society, people should have to be tested in order to reproduce or have a pet.
Well,
To have government
in order to test
life
whether or not
itself.
that, like which one that I would pick, right? I like to imagine two societies, all else equal, and I compare, okay, well, what would it be like with it and what would it be like without it? Right? And I'm thinking like, okay, to own a pet and that you like force licenses, what would it, I mean, would you end up with like lower rates of animal abuse? Yes. Would I also observe like
absolutely.
the government coming in and like raiding people's houses and causing overall
of
chaos
course not.
because of the...
there of course would be a transition period.
No,
there
it's
are
not that
people
there would
who
be a
do
transition
brainwash.
period. Is that's what I can think of when, if
Right.
you had, say, for example,
I
like we already have laws
I understand
against
your-
animal abuse. The question is like, not only are you, is
Just,
it, is that illegal, which I'm perfectly in favor of, but the second step is, okay, you have to like take like a cognitive test. Okay, then that means that there's
Right.
going to be areas that have low education levels, which would mean that they would score lower on cognitive tests as opposed to higher education levels. So it's like we just created like a
Indicate
socioeconomic
be more
blight
likely to
effectively
abuse
just for owning
them.
pets. And there's also the fact that pets, there's so many animals out there and we already have like too many to begin with. So much so that pets are just free. You could just like take a pet and it's yours.
Listen,
In which case, if you make it illegal, then you would end up with like a lot of pets that would not get a home. And it would just, it would just basically make things worse. So then my answer is, okay, let's not have the test thing.
Hang on. You're approaching this from a very, very detailed standpoint, and I was kind of approaching it as an overarching standpoint, which I do appreciate. That is exactly what I would do if I were you. I would absolutely approach this from an analytical standpoint. I would poke holes in every single thing that I said. And you're not wrong to do so. But if you were to look at this as an alien observer, I've always held to the notion that they always say, people hold to the notion, societies are judged by how they treat their prisoners. Have you ever heard that?
Okay. Yeah, I have heard that.
Yeah, I judge societies on how they treat their animals.
Okay.
So
like the better that they treat
Yes,
animals, the better the society.
You're not stupid to poke holes in what the broad statement I made. However, I did make a broad statement. So I was hoping that you could address the broad statement rather than just poke holes on it on the lower levels. I made an umbrella statement. I was hoping that you could address the umbrella rather than the lower levels of it. And perhaps
I don't know
you
what.
think that
I'm not even sure what umbrella statement you made. It didn't even sound like it. It just sounded like a
I made
statement.
an umbrella statement that people should have to have a certain cognitive level in order to be in control of other lives, whether they be humans or animals, whether they be a managerial position in a company. Regardless, they should have to take a certain test. And IQ tests are probably the best standard, but if there are another, I'm happy.
You are
with
aware that
But
IQ tests are
regardless,
discriminatory, right? Like historically speaking.
IQ tests are discriminatory?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to need you to explain how IQ tests are discriminatory, given that they are on an individual basis.
Yes. So
IQ tests are an individual basis. So go ahead and explain how a test on an individual basis is discriminatory, because an IQ test can't tell who to discriminate against. But go ahead.
yeah. So an IQ test, it comes down to how exactly IQ tests are designed. And what happens is say, for example, like it's very common that you use geometric shapes like squares, triangles, circles, all things that you would learn effectively in primary school, being able to recognize certain patterns. If you are,
Taking
for
an
example,
IQ test, so I know what you mean.
if you are,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm saying that I'm sorry. I'm saying that I've taken.
I just need you to listen.
So I know what you mean.
I just need you to listen.
Right.
If I say, for example, you have a individual where they grew up K through 12 education, and all over their homework has been nothing but triangles, circles, squares, solving geometric shapes, solving patterns on the basis of these geometric shapes, you end up with a higher IQ. However, if you never grew up with those things, for example, you look in the third world countries, such as African countries, a lot of these people have not grown up with those kinds of shapes. Now, when we do these individual IQ tests on, say, African countries, we could see that they get like 60 IQ, like 60, 70, like basically at the point of being mentally handicapped. However,
is retardation.
Yes, and so here's the thing. Yes, so obviously though, right, you can recognize that most people in Africa aren't mentally retarded, right? What is likely happening?
No, I can't recognize.
You think they're just mentally retarded?
No. No, I what I'm saying is that your basis is flawed from the beginning. It doesn't matter.
I haven't even finished what I was saying.
I know, but your initial premise is wrong.
The initial presence is not wrong, because a lot of this stuff does deal with patterns as well as the geometric shapes, which you recognize in primary school. Let me finish.
All right, I'll let you finish.
So we know that they're not mentally handicapped in these African countries, but yet they score very low on these IQ tests.
So
the reality is that a lot of the time is being spent not on education, but you may actually have education in a more practical sense. One example is if you took a tribe of people and that they are very adept at hunting, the way that they would likely design their IQ test is who is best at hunting, for example, because they would see a sign of intelligence to be like, well, if you're very adept at hunting and you know how to hunt, then likely, for example, if you say had a Western child that all they did was learn K through 12 education and understanding of shapes and circles and squares, the Westernized child would be mentally handicapped by their own metrics.
You're correct. I do see what you're saying. Here's the problem, though. IQ tests are a standard, and that standard has been set by Western civilizations that have invented iPads and iPhones. Just because there are tribes that haven't invented the wheel doesn't mean that those standards are inept.
I don't know what I mean. The West has largely stolen tons and tons of knowledge from tribes that are not white and Western.
It doesn't matter.
Like, do you really think that white people came up with algebra? Yeah, let's go ahead and let's say that name. Let's say that name together.
Algebra. I didn't say that, and I already acknowledged that it was algebra itself, alchemy, algebra. All the owls were definitely
Arabic,
Muslim in nature.
They're Arabic, yeah.
They were invented.
That's correct.
In
they are Arabic.
Middle East in the 1800s.
So I just wanted to drive home that that you said, how is a IQ test? How is it racist? And I feel like I've laid down my case, and it seems, wouldn't you agree it's reasonable? Understanding.
Let me dismantle your case. Here's the problem. The IQ test itself was a white Western idea. No?
Yes.
Right. Here's the problem. I'm not advocating from a place of racism. As I just explained to you, that I agree that Middle Eastern peoples definitely invented new mathematics in the 1600s under Islam. They certainly did. Islam has contributed to mathematics a lot more than perhaps even Western cultures. May have a point there. But what I'm telling you is that you have to reconcile that with the fact that modern IQ tests are not racist. They're not. They have no bearing on what race you are. No matter who takes the test, it is what it is. IQ tests test how well you can solve problems. IQ tests evaluate how well you can recognize patterns. Granted, a lot of it is mathematics, but not all of it. And you have to understand that when people take IQ tests, and this has nothing to do with race regardless, because there are several Asian countries that test higher than white countries.
Okay, so
it's not a race-based
let
thing.
Let me ask you this.
Your
right?
insinuation that I'm racist based on
I didn't say
putting
no.
stock in IQ tests is invalid.
I did not say that you're racist. I
Well,
said that IQ tests are racist. They are.
That's not true.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Does lead impact your intelligence?
Yes,
lead exposure.
Lead will definitely. Yes, that lead will definitely inhibit your neural receptors.
Okay. Do you believe that have governments created systems to allow there to be industrial facilities closer to those that are closer to poor socioeconomic conditions or wealthy socioeconomic conditions?
Of course, wealthy economic positions, and I have not argued that that is not the case.
Okay,
but,
so
knowledgeable standards based on IQ tests, you're not negating that.
So, if there is a greater is it fair to say that there is a greater prevalence of lead exposure in these industrial facilities, being closer to them as opposed to further away?
Yes, and that should tell you how badly the undeveloped world lags behind, because from the 1910s...
Well, you can come here in the United States and observe that.
Whoa. From the 1910s to the 1960s, before unleaded gasoline was outlawed, leaded gasoline was the
lead is used in all sorts of different industrial applications, as well as domestic.
Until the 60s, breathed in leaded gasoline. They were leaded. These people's brains were leaded.
Yes,
and that only proves my point further.
Okay,
that
so
Western civilization was ahead of the curve so much.
Well, that was Western civilization. That was
50 years and still be ahead.
Well, it was Western civilization that managed to pull that one off. So I don't know about it being super great in that terms. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make to you, is that and you acknowledge that every single scenario, in order for this to be true, so you have factories that leak lead and that they predominantly go to poor socioeconomic condition locations, which then, because of the lead exposure, reduces overall IQ. And then we sit there and we measure them with an IQ test, measuring these differences, and then end up encouraging stereotypes or negative stereotypes towards minorities.
Would you
This is
agree
why it's
that the lead
racist.
exposure has nothing to do with the lead exposure? The IQ tests.
Are you?
Would you agree that the IQ tests have no bearing on lead exposure?
No, it doesn't.
Right.
But if
Yes.
you're measuring a
Yes,
thing that is
America
impacting the
has,
lead
mean
exposure,
IQ
that's
100,
impacted by lead
Africa
exposure.
has a median
Oh
IQ of
my
80.
God, dude, this is becoming a very frustrating conversation if we can't have a back and forth.
I apologize. I have been
I really
over-talking
wish you
you.
would talk to me when you're sober. I would enjoy you a lot more if you were sober.
I want to too, and I've offered that to you.
You should call me when you're sober.
I offered that to you. I'd like to talk to you not in public.
What? No, you just call in the show a day on Thursday and not drink for that day. When you're done talking to me, then you can have a drink.
No. You're correct. I only call into the show when I'm drinking a little bit, but I have offered for you to call me when I'm sober.
You have not been drinking a little bit. I can hear you slurring like hard.
Today, you're correct. Today I have, and you're correct. But I have offered for you to call me absent.
So if the IQ test is designed to measure a person's IQ, it determines how good they are at that test. A lot of the times people associate whether or not you being good to that test being to you being smart versus dumb. If you have created socioeconomic conditions that enable more lead exposure across poor socioeconomic classes, and this is predominantly affecting minorities, the thing that we're ending up measuring being the IQ, that's telling me that it's that the ultimate response when you observe low IQs deterministically because they've had lead exposure. Therefore, these people are dumber. You know, it reinforces negative stereotypes on the basis of race. And so I push against IQ tests in their validity, as well as really how it would impact specific societies. So framing society or trying to create policies around someone having high IQ or low IQ, I think is a terrible idea. Terrible idea.
So, all right. So are you done? I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt.
Yep, I'm done.
Okay. So here's the problem with what you just said. From 1910 to 1960 something, I can't remember exactly when they stopped putting lead in gasoline. You're familiar with that, correct?
Yes.
Right. So in the Western world, in the developed world, where they used a lot of gasoline, they were putting lead in the fucking air for 60 years.
Yep.
And yet, if you look at global IQ scores, the developed world still scores higher than the undeveloped world where they weren't doing that.
Just because of the pattern recognition, and then secondly, that affected the
that
lead exposure would affect the entire world. It would not affect that. Did not affect the Western world, and all of a sudden, all of the smog, or all of the lead stays in the atmosphere of the United States. That would have impacted everywhere. Also, just FYI, this again completely is ignoring the fact that industry usually likes to settle around people who have poor socioeconomic conditions, which only exacerbates the problem.
Listen, I'm stupid. I've come across verifiable evidence that Africa has a particular geological. I study all kinds of sciences and history. I'm not someone who just looks at one thing and comes at this from one angle. I come at this from a lot of angles. I know that Africa has absolutely been exploited. I'm not saying that they haven't, but here's the problem. Beginning with the age of exploration in 1492 with Columbus, beginning with that, you cannot say that the natives that were exploited had the same IQ as the explorers. You can't say that. It just isn't true. We found out that the Chinese had discovered gunpowder, and they weren't doing shit with it except making fireworks. It was the Europeans that turned it into a weapon that conquered the planet. Period.
And that makes you better if you conquer a planet?
No, that does not. It doesn't make Europeans better. It just illustrates that they had a higher IQ.
Again, I'm telling you that the IQ is just racist, and it is. And you haven't really addressed.
I never said it wasn't racist.
Daniel.
But higher IQs.
Daniel, did I make that up?
No. We should just.
No,
we
you
should
didn't,
just
but he
admit
doesn't
to
really
ourselves
understand. And
He's
also
drunk.
that
Yeah, he's drunk.
Europeans.
All right.
No.
We're moving on.
Hang on, man.
It was a good
Hang
talk,
on, man.
buddy.
Just admit to
We will talk
ourselves
later,
that
okay?
Europeans had higher IQs, so they were able to conquer people's.
Yeah, he wasn't really very coherent, and he didn't really understand the point of
He
why IQ
he
is not a good
he
metric
literally just said.
to
He said
quantify
that.
intelligence.
He said that IQ. He said, how is IQ racist? And I said, it is racist because of X, Y, and Z. And then after understanding what my argument was, he said, I never said IQ or IQ tests weren't racist. That's wild. We are taking
he
calls.
also thought that you said that he's racist, which is wild.
Yeah, and I didn't even say anything about him being racist. I said IQ tests were racist. That's wild. You're on the line with First Amender.
How you doing, First?
Hello.
This is AWOL. How's your night going?
Great. Can't complain. It's having a good day.
Ooh, beans. Can you hear me clearly?
I sure can. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. I've got a couple of good ones for you tonight.
All right, I'm in.
All right. On our last talk, we were talking about hate speech.
Let me ask you this. Do you just curious, are you like there in the middle of the week and then you just like bust out your phone or notepad or whatever and you're like, ooh, that would be a good topic. And then you write that down for later.
Well, sometimes that happens because after I listen to a debate back, I think about the things that I didn't say to you or the things I let you skate by on.
Okay.
So
All
anyway,
right, go ahead.
you gave me your example was that there were a bunch of Nazis protesting in front of a synagogue.
Yeah.
And even though we were talking about hate speech, I made the point to you that there are a lot of laws that actually already can be affected during that kind of demonstration.
Yeah.
And you kind of brushed it off. So I wanted to readdress that again.
Okay.
All right. So they have disturbing the peace, slander, oddly enough, communicating threats, vandalism, failure to disperse, and trespassing.
Okay.
All right. So if you add all those up, what would someone be able to do that's not under that umbrella that's hate speech wise? Give me an actual example.
Yeah, they can be out in a public area and raise their Nazi flags and slogans and say things like white people will never get replaced. Jews, you've got what's coming for you. They can say whatever they want, really. I mean, as long as it's not a direct, actionable threat of violence, they can absolutely do that. And they can do it right in front of a synagogue. Provided you're on a public easement, you are full within your rights to do so.
Okay, so please give me your example then. What is it that tips it past to the point where they need to be in jail about it?
Well, right there, yeah.
The
What
hate
I just
speech
said,
part
they
of it.
should be in jail.
So you're saying even implying something can send you to jail?
I think that there is like a level that is super harmful to people and society, and we should push back against that. We're way too permissive.
I'm sorry. There's a level. What level? Be specific, man. Stop talking broadly.
Well, I
Tell me
gave
exactly
you
what I would
the
need to
example.
say
I
to
think
go
if
to
you're in
jail
public,
for hate
he's been
speech.
doing your Nazi. I don't think you should be a Nazi in public. 100%. Yeah, no. You're Nazi in public, you go to jail. Here's jail. Enjoy jail. Have a good day.
Okay, but again, if we're talking about hate speech, you're being incredibly vague again. You're not bubbling down. What are we?
I gave you the very specific scenario of what would make it hate speech.
All right, I'm sorry.
You want me to say it again?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So the instance would be, there you are, you're on a public easement, and you're saying your Nazi slogans and waving your Nazi flags around. Hell, I don't even think you need to. I think you're just even saying Nazi slogans. I don't even think I need to see a Nazi symbol at all.
Slow down for 1 second.
But like waving
second.
around a
Isn't that
Nazi
just disturbing
symbol
the peace?
and Nazi slogan. No, actually, it's not. It would be a form of protest.
So what makes the difference between a protest and hate speech?
Protest and hate speech, whether or not you have hateful rhetoric, right? Where it makes it incredibly yes, an area where it makes it
broad answers.
An area where it makes it incredibly antagonistic in order to live out your life.
Okay, I make you feel bad, so I should go to jail. I need something that actually tells me what I'm doing that makes you feel that
You
way.
make it an incredible not a person feel bad. It's you make it an incredibly antagonistic place to live out your life. So a good example of this would be if you were trying to go to the grocery store, but there's a bunch of Nazis in public easement in the way. You can't because you feel that your safety is put at risk. That you shouldn't go to the grocery store, right? Under those pretenses, and it's a situation like that where I go, that should be illegal. Should be.
I'm sorry, but that example had nothing to do with anything that anyone actually said to you.
No. What you asked is you wanted criteria on where specifically.
Oh, and you're just talking about just
I'm
making
giving you
the
that
environment.
Criteria. Yeah, if you make the
quick-
environment incredibly antagonistic for people to live their lives, then yeah, you should go to jail. Jail.
All right. So under what you just said, let's say me and you live on the same block, and I beat your ass on the street one day.
Yeah.
And then every day that I see you, I just kind of lean against the fence and watch you walk down the street.
Yeah.
After a while, wouldn't that be making it antagonistic for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
Should I go to jail?
Kinda, yeah.
Holy shit, dog. What are you talking about?
No, I think it's legit.
So wait, am I going to jail for being a bully or for the first time I assaulted you? I'm just curious.
No, you're going to jail for making it an incredibly antagonistic place in order for someone to live. Yeah.
How can you prove that? I have the same right to being on that street
why
as
are
you
you
do.
standing
You
there
don't like how I'm
threateningly
looking
to
at
the
you?
person that you assaulted? Seriously, that's a legitimate. Why are you standing there threateningly to the person you had assaulted in the past? Yeah, absolutely. Jail. Go to jail.
Because I like unnerving that person.
Okay,
But
yeah,
still,
jail.
I'm just saying,
jail,
would that
jail,
make that's
jail.
jail
You
worthy
like creating? Yeah, 100%. Jail. Go to jail.
Okay, and
You
you're the
can't do
person
that.
who wants to make laws for hate speech. Do you understand how soft? Okay.
Well,
first.
dude, we already do this sort of thing. Again, like this is already done across European countries. It's only in the United States where we have some weird cutoff regarding the First Amendment, and we extend like the freedom of the press to go between every individual, no matter what, even if what they're saying is some of the most hateful rhetoric that you can imagine.
Okay, first. Back in the day, you said that you used to be a bully. Did you need to go to jail for that?
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, I did.
Okay, at least you stand by what you say. Okay.
100%. 100%.
All right, so I had an even better subject for you. the last time we were talking, you brought up the anti-trans laws that have been passed.
Yep.
Well, I took a look at it myself, and I was wondering if you could pull up that same website. It was the something tracker. Trans legislation tracker. That's what it was.
Yes, trans legislation tracker. Yes. What about it?
All right, can you pull that up?
Sure. All right, it's up.
Okay. So when you pulled that up, you were talking to somebody who was in the chat at the time, and I hadn't really paid attention. But when you read the opening for this, is this an unbiased, neutral source?
No, this is not an unbiased, neutral source.
Okay, that's what I was going to contest, because that opening statement is full of just victim language and just stretching the truth a lot.
Well, it's not really stretching the truth. I mean, we can go over each individual bill and how it's specifically discriminating against trans people. I think you should use flagrant language exactly as it's happening. And I don't feel like that I should have to like cater to people that are like, who can't recognize it, or maybe that they are, they're on the right and they don't like trans people to begin with. I like calling it like I sees it. And just because that there's a bias source doesn't mean that it's incorrect. And just so, I mean, and I have gone over the individual legislation. They are effectively just laws attempting to discriminate against trans people.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, now that it's up on my screen and I can see it, that first part, can you read that, please? Because
yes.
There's like
in 2025, anti-trans bills continue to be introduced across the country. We track legislation that seeks to block trans people from receiving basic health care, education, legal recognition, and the right to publicly exist.
All right. So the first one, basic health care.
Yep.
Is it basic health care if you need care that the majority of the population doesn't need?
But yes.
Like in my mind, I think that basic health care would be broken bones, cancer that either gender could get.
Let me ask you this. Hold on. Percentage-wise, right, out of your entire life or out of someone's life, that people get broken bones. How many people are getting broken bones?
Percentage-wise, I'd say
like
maybe
on a daily basis. Like, what would you say?
Maybe 60% of people, I guess.
Throughout your life?
Everyone you know? Yeah, I'd say about 60% of people have broken a bone.
Yeah. Out of your entire life, how many days do you have a broken bone, would you say?
Oh, no, not how many days. I'm sorry. Well, how many days, I guess. It depends on how many bones you've broken. That's kind of...
Okay.
I'm talking about the general population first. Most people have broken a bone or will.
Right? Here's the thing. Just because somebody has a rare condition or a condition that isn't common, I still think like when it comes to the concept basic healthcare, this is largely like, I swear Americans can't wrap their head around it, that healthcare that allows people to live or live a better life, this is not some exotic thing. Healthcare is largely paid for across all of these European nations, as well as Canada, as well as the New Zealand, as well as Australia. They all have free healthcare. And heck, even Cuba has free healthcare, and they live a much lower quality of living standard than we in the United States live. And I have to ask, I'm like, we pay more per person in healthcare than any of these other countries by a long shot. So I can sit here and I can observe these, hospitals that have lots of money. What?
First, you're kind of rambling right now. First, can we keep it to just the United States in this particular subject?
So if you have, for example, gender dysphoria, it would be basic health care to provide hormone-related therapy for that. Same thing if you have gynecomastia or congenital adrenal hyperplasia.
Wait. Everything that you've named is not the average, correct?
It doesn't matter. It's still
wait. I'm
just
sorry,
as
but
it's
words.
not average that your bones are broken.
No.
You
Words
get
matter.
the care that
You
you
can't-
need.
Okay, I'm not contesting whether the person needs the health care. What I'm contesting is the fact that you're saying they're not getting basic health care. It's
That's
not
correct.
basic because you're actually using words like rare, correct?
Okay, sure.
It's not
So
the norm, so it's
so-
not basic.
okay.
I'm just saying the wording is bad.
But don't you believe that if a person has gender dysphoria, should they get the health care that they need in order to combat that?
Yes, they should. It shouldn't be considered basic health care because it's not
Why?
basic. That's what my point is.
Okay.
I'm saying that
well,
basic health care is what the general
just
population
FYI,
gets.
well,
and then
again,
you have specialized
is
cases.
it basic health care to provide hormone blockers for a child suffering from gynecomastia?
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the rare case where a child has breasts? A
Yeah.
boy?
Yeah. Is that basic health
Oh,
care?
I'm sorry. Did I just say rare case?
Yeah.
I didn't say they shouldn't have health care. I'm saying it's not basic
You realize
health care.
rare and basic are not antithetical to one another, right? Those can both be in the same category, right?
Actually, I'm not even going to front. I really don't. First, give me an example so that I can wrap my mind around that.
Gynecomastia.
So that's both.
It's rare,
rare
but it's
condition
also a
and a
pretty
basic
basic
one?
situation where you apply hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy to address the child with gynecomastia.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Can
It's
you give me
really
another
basic.
example that's not medical? No. I'm sorry. Can you give me another example of something that's both rare and basic at the same time? That's not medical.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think you would.
What?
Huh? I think that's kind of hard to make an example of. That's why I'm saying that.
Appendicitis.
So that's rare, but it's a basic condition.
Yeah.
Okay, first, you know what? I'll concede that point to you. Let's move on to the next thing.
Okay.
Was it education?
Yeah. Education.
Oh, yeah. Did they say basic education too?
No, it just says education.
Okay, what education are trans individuals being excluded from that the rest of the people in school
Anti-LGBT health.
I'm sorry, what?
Anti-LGBT health classes. So there do exist classes regarding health where as the health teaching in terms of education is largely non-LGBT. In fact, teaching anything LGBT regarding sex ed is banned in a lot of different states. And so the problem that I'm having is that there do exist LGBT children. And because that they are LGBT, they're going to one day, as they're going through puberty, do something about it, just as everybody else is. And I would rather them be equipped versus not equipped to being able to handle those things. Well, that's not what legislators think. What legislators think is that they want to ban things like LGBT sex ed.
Well, I guess the banning part of it I would understand as far as like, what would that involve? Why is that different from regular sex ed? As far as if we're talking about sex education, the only things that
if
you're
you're
supposed
gay,
to be
for example, that would involve an anal sex, right? And the typical and typically, so here's
okay, but wait, stop, wait, stop for 1 second first. So, like in high school, when I went through sex ed, of course, years and years ago, even if they tell you the basics, they don't tell you positions, they don't tell you how you're going to have sex. They tell you the things about your body as far as what's produced and things of that nature. What would the LGBTQ children not be learning during these classes?
Anal sex?
Again, why are we...
They just tell you it's not
I'm missing the
natural, and
point
that's
here.
it. They move on. They don't really care beyond that.
They shouldn't even tell you it's not natural because it shouldn't be part of the curriculum.
Yes,
what I'm talking about is biology.
But
if
this
you're
is what I'm
biology,
saying.
why are you teaching positions?
I'm not teaching positions. I never said anything regarding a position.
Well, you brought up the anal sex thing.
Yes, because typically gay people, men, have anal sex. And my position is that we should teach all children to being prepared in order to ensure that all children are safe when they end up going out and having fun. And right now that there are laws being put on the books that say you can't do that.
Okay, first, I'm just curious about something. You're saying going out and having fun. You're talking about having sex, correct?
Yes.
All right. There's a lot of different ways to have sex and a lot of things that fall under the umbrella of sex. Are you going to literally have a class where you tell people different kinks about sex?
No. I didn't say that.
And how do you narrow that down? Well, how do you narrow it down?
Narrow what down? You just give people the tools that they need to ensure that they have safe sex. That's what you do.
Okay, what are the tools? What are the tools that they need? First, please tell me.
For anal sex, wear a condom, take lube.
Motherfucker! Oh my God, Jesus Christ! For any
wear
child,
condom,
any
use
high
lube.
school student.
Wear a condom, use lube.
Okay.
Great advice.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Great, fabulous.
Wait, you're not getting frustrated already, are you, man?
No, it's just you want to seem to like say, okay, well, I don't see a reason to teach these LGBT, and it's like I feel like you're having a hard time kind of addressing LGBT people, and what do you do when you have a kid that's LGBT? And it's like me, it's obvious. It's like, okay, you just give them the same level of education as you would a straight kid, right? We teach a straight kid.
Well, actually, that's what I'm advocating for. That's what I'm advocating for. I'm trying to ask you what the difference between is.
But they're not going to have vaginal sex if it's a boy and they're gay. It's not going to happen, right? And that's their decision if they want to do that. I'm simply saying that you apply safe sex you teach them safe sex to heterosexual kids. Well, if they're an LGBT kid, then they need specific lessons to address the specific problems that is only prevalent among LGBT youth.
Okay, first, fair enough. You want to move to the next one?
Sure. Legal recognition?
Yeah, explain that one to me, please.
Yeah, so what they're doing in specific is that they are codifying into legislation, specifically telling trans people that they do not exist. There is only man and woman. The president has said that. J.D. Vance has said that. There's multiple states that have already passed legislation to prevent legal recognition, as well as passports where you are forced to either show you're male or female at birth. You are not allowed to change that under any circumstance.
Well, I'll just go ahead and tell you the truth. I have no problem with that as far as the passport goes.
What about where you codify into legislation
to
prevent the existence of trans people on any legal document whatsoever?
What do you mean as far? Well, okay.
I mean, we can go over the particular legal recognition bills. I mean, we can look at them. They're not good.
Okay, wait. How much time we have left? How much time we have left?
9 minutes.
Damn, that was pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even actually get to any of the actual bills that I had looked up. That's fine. We can end on the last 9 minutes with the last part of the statement about, is it the right to exist?
The right to publicly exist?
Yeah. Now, how do you even word that? The right to publicly exist? I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, it actually coincides with my legal recognition clause, where they say there's only two genders, man and woman, even though the fact that they don't seem to understand that male and female and sex and gender, and saying that there's only man and woman when it comes to gender kind of acknowledges the existence of gender. But beside the point, is that their intent is to ensure that trans people should not exist out out in the public. In fact, they want to make it, say, illegal for, say, a man to be walking around in women's clothing would be an example.
Okay, so now that one is pretty interesting because we've had men walking around in women's clothing for a long time. So were any of these laws passed where a man can't walk around in women's clothing?
I don't know. I can look that up.
Well, one of these days we should go through this list because I had actually looked at them and I was curious because what percentage of this do you think is because of trans hatred?
Hold on. Can you repeat your question?
What percentage of these laws do you think are being enacted because of trans hatred?
I don't know.
Just your own point of view. I'm curious. I mean, because you do
I think
understand
a lot
that
of it, I'll be
sometimes
honest
to
with
protect-
you, man. I think that Rupert Murdoch was onto something, bringing up anti-trans propaganda, and that has then, since that push has led itself pervasive throughout the United States, and it is stemming off of a disgust towards trans individuals.
Discuss.
Yeah.
Some of the laws that were passed, I was looking through, and some of them actually protect a lot of trans individuals too. You would admit that, right? Well, you can. I assume you don't think that every law that has trans in it is negative towards you, correct, or towards people.
I mean, yeah, there's trans laws that are specifically designed to protect trans individuals.
Okay, and some of those are the laws that have been passed recently.
Yes.
I think that the number was, oh, shoot.
Well, I mean, I'd rather have there be zero laws that prevent trans people from existing.
Stop saying existing first. No one's saying you don't exist. No one's saying they don't exist.
Here's the thing.
It's like word programming.
Are there
man.
are there bathroom and public facility restrictions?
Yes.
Okay. So there have been states that have attempted to restrict trans people from using the public bathrooms that align with their gender identity, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. North Carolina's HB2 bill required individuals that they use bathrooms corresponding to their sex assigned at birth in public buildings, right?
Okay.
Are you aware that laws like this have caused, for example, trans individuals deciding what bathroom that they ought go to in order to cause the least amount of friction? And a lot of the times the trans person will say, for example, if they are male but they are presenting female, they will opt to use the male restroom in order to abide by the law, only to then get beat up because they are wearing women's clothing and wearing makeup. And so a lot of trans people, what they do openly is that they avoid using public facilities entirely in order to just avoid the issue. They go to the bathroom at home and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm.
Is that concerning?
You had a conversation with another caller.
No. Mm-hmm. So that's an instance where it's like their right to exist is put into question.
I wouldn't word that as right to exist, but
hold on.
That's fine.
Do you need to use the bathroom in order to? Do you need to use the bathroom? You're a human being, right? You got to use the bathroom.
Yes.
Okay. Do trans people need to use the bathroom?
Of course they do.
Is it because they're a human being?
Did I ever say they weren't?
So why are we
in
banning
any of
them
our
from using
conversations?
bathrooms?
Does anyone has anyone you've ever argued with said that trans people are not human beings? Ever in all these
they've
debates?
never said that. And
Then
but
stop
the
saying
problem
it,
that I'm
man.
trying to say is that they ought have a right to exist, which ought
I
to be
agree with you that they should be
alongside
able to go to
with
bathrooms.
public restroom usage. And it doesn't matter, man, woman's restroom, unisex, you get to use the restroom free of harassment. There ought, and just FYI, there were bathroom laws that would discriminate against people in the past. I'm sure you'd be aware of that, right?
Yeah, of
And
course.
we created laws that say you can't discriminate against minorities on the bathroom that they use. Boom. Problem goes away. Problem disappears. But right now, trans people are dealing with the fact that there can be that open discrimination and the removal of a person's right to publicly exist. That's one example. There's plenty other bills that are interacted in order to reduce the existence of trans people overall.
The existence.
Yes.
You're just like so deep in that wordplay that you
I
can't
sure
let that
am.
word go.
No, dude,
Fair enough,
because I believe that that's it, man. If you have, for example, an Arkansas SB 150 bill, you know, which was passed back in 2021, banning gender affirming medical care for anyone under 18, that, and several other states passing the same laws, that means trans youth are denied care. That leads to severe mental health consequences and makes it harder for them to express their gender identity publicly. This makes trans people stop existing.
Okay, so stop soapboxing for a second and let's just, well, I'm sure my time's almost up, but I'm curious, like, when you talk about gender affirming care, again, that's one of those subjects that's very vague because are we talking about psychological care in which someone talks to people, or are we talking about actual surgery, hormones, things of that nature?
That's a part of it. Yes. When it comes to psychologist assistance, that is a part of gender affirming care. Yes.
Okay. So when we're talking about until the age of 18, is that because of the person's under the parents?
Yeah, they're not an adult legally.
Okay. So are you trying to take, all right. Do you not believe that the parents have the best wishes of the children in mind?
No, not always.
Because they don't understand the child, or is it?
Well, there's a lot of
they just
bigotry
want to
and
deny
hatred
them
towards
care.
Trans individuals, and it shows in the fact that the trans people have the highest prevalence of homelessness because of being kicked out by their parents simply for their gender identity.
Okay. All right, I'm pretty certain that's pretty much our time. I watched your debate with the the F flat earther guy.
What'd you think?
I'll be honest with you. Of course, I want both of you to lose because I don't agree with your point of view. I think that you did very well.
Thank you.
I think your partner sucked ass, though.
Fight the Flat Earth? He's got 60,000 subscribers.
Wait. He's kind of rude and abrasive, isn't he?
He is very rude and abrasive.
Well, you know who that reminds me of? Andrew Woods. When you're like, he's rude, abrasive, he yells, he screams, and he has a whole bunch of followers, but he's a piece of shit. Same guy. It's just a different rapping.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, well, he's not as good of a debater.
Maybe
but
I
he
can.
sucked ass.
Maybe
you
I
did pretty
can.
good.
Yeah, maybe I can beat those numbers one day. Subscribe. Are you guys subscribed yet?
All right, first, go on with the rest of your live, man. I wish you well.
Good talk.
Later.
We are taking calls 202-998-5218. You want to call in? Let's have a discussion. I want to hear out what you have to say. Let's do it.
Dude, I think he's a very interesting person. Like,
do you? He's a right. He's a right winger.
Look,
but
I feel. Yeah, I know.
You think he's?
Like
you think?
it's interesting?
Like dipping a
in a
stone,
sense.
like dipping a stone into a river. It slowly begins to smooth out, and
yeah.
What I've observed with AWOL is, I don't know, maybe he is thinking more, understanding my perspective more. I don't know.
No, but I think look. So what I like about him is that it feels like he's putting in effort.
Yes, which is good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly. And that's the important stuff at the end of the day. Because
I agree.
Like, there's no way to change your mind if you're not putting in effort, right?
That's true.
And it's this like I feel like he's, obviously he has his ideas, but it's not like he's okay to be challenged on his ideas, and he kind of tries to kind of push and prod his position, right?
Yes.
In a way, which is like, it's very good. I like it, it's not a bad thing. I like to do the same with my positions, because like I want to know things that are like true at the end of the day.
And it's
right?
going
And
to sound
things
like
that
I'm
actually
tooting
make
my own
sense.
horn, but that's I do that as well. I constantly find myself pushing against my own ideas all the time. We are taking calls 202-998-5218. Call in. Let's have a discussion. I want to hear what you have to say. You could even show up as the video of the week if you're interesting enough. I want to hear you out. I do. I really do. If you disagree with you have to say with me, fine. I'll hear you out. Let's have the discussion. Right now,
Or if you disagree, we can take you to the gulag. It's all good. Special gulag.
It's funny. It's good stuff. Did you see earlier where I was using this gun and it really does hit hard. You gotta.
Well, I mean, it's a Magnum. So
I know.
Like, in video games, usually they do hit hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though it's like it's more so than any other gun. Like.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. If you're getting shot with a 9mm, you're going down.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing.
You don't need a
like,
Magnum. You know.
Guns in video games, right? You need to. Oh, this is actually super powerful, but it's not that accurate, and so on. Right?
Yeah.
So
It's like they're all
it is the
accurate.
gun
It's a
trope.
gun. It's a gun.
Exactly.
You know? We were talking
It's
about
like,
that
dude, it's like
regarding
not throwing spears, you know?
Yeah. We were talking about that regarding shotguns. You remember that?
Exactly.
We're like, dude, unless if you're like within 10 feet, it just does 0 damage.
Although, to be honest, at like a meter, if you shoot somebody with a shotgun at a meter away, you're just blowing out like half their fucking body. Like the exit wound will be big.
Yeah.
You know, like
let me also just say, like, if you shoot somebody with a shotgun from 20 meters, that's going to hurt. Really bad.
Yeah.
That's going to be bad. That is not a splash damage situation. That's a...
Yeah.
I got to find...
it depends on the slug, right? I mean, it depends. If you have like bird shot, well...
I heard earlier...
It's not going to kill, but it's going to hurt.
Drunken Skeptic says, nobody here. IQ has nothing to do with race. He made it a race issue. I never mentioned race. No, I'm simply saying that IQ tests are racist. They are. I believe they are. And the reason why I hung up was, one, you were out of time. And number two, you said that you didn't say anything about it being racist. And then you acknowledged that it was racist. That's why I hung up. So
by the way, if you want to know, there's like you should look at the IQ tests that were being handed out on Ellis Island in the early 20th century.
Or IQ tests,
and they were handing out this. Yeah, they were handing out these tests to like.
Let's look it up.
Immigrants,
let's
right?
pull it up.
Yeah, like a lot of the immigrants were for like Russia, right? Imagine you're a fucking peasant from like Russia, right? That comes to America because he needs to eat to survive. And then you're handing out this test, and I remember one of the images was like a picture, like a drawn-out picture of a tennis court with two people playing tennis, but there was no ball, right, between them. So they both had rackets, but no ball, right? And they would ask you, what is missing, right? Me and you, because you know what fucking tennis is, we see obviously the ball, right?
Yeah, but then people who didn't know, there was like, what is this?
Exactly, like
we don't know what it is.
Peasant from like, Siberia,
That's
right? It's
wild.
like, I don't know what's missing. It's like the chicken.
That's wild.
It's like, what is missing? Yeah. So obviously they would be actually categorized as being retarded.
Look, hold on.
Because they will say, oh, these people are just like stupid. Obviously. Look, they don't even know it's a ball missing. Like, how stupid can they be? And it didn't get any better, like moving on, IQ tests are only good to determine one thing. How good are you at taking IQ tests?
Yeah, I'm now curious if I can find a PDF of this test, which would be fabulous.
I did see it a long time ago.
You did? Okay.
Let me see if I can.
See if you can find it. I'm looking for it. Mental tests and immigrant. Jesus, this is awful. When was this?
Okay. So I did find something. Let's see if they have any picture, because I remember like the picture of the.
This is like when they call them imbeciles.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like moron, idiot. They're all like actually they were all actual terms for people with like
Isn't that wild?
Brain issues. Let me see like images. Maybe like if I just.
I'm looking. See, there's like papers writing about it, but not the actual intelligence test.
It was a while ago I saw this. So.
It sounds interesting. I'd want to see that. I can't.
My game was telling me that we were running out of resources.
I can't find it. I'm looking though. There's a weird puzzle of like a face, which I don't really understand. Like, why would that be hard to solve?
Well, I mean, again, it's like, it's not hard to solve for us, but
So I'm being told that while there's no single original PDF existing of the full battery of tests given at Ellis Island, facsimiles of the types of tests used are available through educational resources like Cummings Center, which provides 3D reproductions. These historical tests included visual puzzles like the facial figure jigsaw, designed to assess immigrants' cognitive abilities and quote-unquote feeble-mindedness.
Yeah, they were feeble-minded, yes. And especially like women are also.
Okay, here we go. I got some pages here. Here we go. So, lesson plan: psychological testing at Ellis Island. Okay. The lesson supports Stan Highwitt's Meet the Staff program in Akron Public Schools. It can be completed before or after on-site visit to Stan Highwitt. The lesson addresses some of the intelligence and psychological testing administered to immigrants at Ellis Island when they were landing in America after traveling by boat from their homelands. The tests were all designed to be administered even if the examiner and alien did not speak the same language. Great.
That was great, too.
Good work. Why are they doing so bad?
A test?
Yeah.
You don't even speak the language.
You know, c'est quoi? Like, he's speaking the moon speak. All right, so during this lesson, students will learn about psychological testing administering to immigrants 100 years ago upon entrance of the United States. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, this is actually a lesson plan here for specifically. Okay, so teachers can check out an Ellis Island test kit, which includes 3D facsimiles of original tests plus class set of paper versions for every student. Okay, we got to find the Ellis Island test kit. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to find it. We're going to find it. Ellis Island test kit. Oh my God. These are so cringy.
I mean, these things are like so old. It's like, I'm pretty sad that people don't really have like,
okay.
We don't have like virtual things.
All right. So here we go. On June 29th, 2017, we participated in a teacher workshop immigration at Stan Highwitt Hall and Gardens. Stan Highwitt offers an educational program called Meet the Staff. Okay, so we prepared a lesson for fabricated test kits to support teachers who begin students to participate with Meet the Staff. So after an initial inspection, some immigrants were triaged into a separate line for further inspection, which involves a battery of psychological tests that were designed to be useful in cases where language skills were a barrier. The 3 tests were used at Ellis Island were demonstrated for teachers are the cube imitation test, the form board test, and the feature profile test. Okay, so this is the form board test. After a brief history and demonstration of the original artifacts, Jody told the teachers that they would come to their classrooms and teach this lesson on Ellis Island psychological testing. In order to do this, we fabricated each of the tests using foam, core, and wood. Additionally, we recreated the tests with the administration and scoring instructions on paper, so each student have a turn being both tester as well as the immigrant. So to the left, a teacher works on the form board test. To the top, another works on the feature profile test. In the blue box, notice the edge of the cube imitation test. This test kit shows they're showing like this, like the making of this thing, but not the actual test. Let me look. Hold on. I want to hear the tests.
Yeah, same. That's the fun part, right?
Hold on. I'm looking. Give me a sec. All right, we'll Google the Knox Cube imitation test.
But I think that's the one with the face, right?
No.
That should be the one. No? Oh, it's
the Knox Cube imitation test, or KCIT, was developed as a nonverbal intelligence test developed by Howard Andrew Knox, a medical officer at Ellis Island. It was first published as a pamphlet in 1913, then in 1914 as a paper in the Journal of Academic Medical Association. Knox wrote, "From different sources have come many requests for the description of tests worked out the conclusions reached in their practical work that has been done on Ellis Island on mental defectives."
Mental defective.
Jesus. For this reason,
pass the test?
How do you say, "Hello, my name is Daniel Hume" in Romanian?
Bună, numele meu este Daniel Hume.
He's retarded. Get him the Knox Cube.
Get him the Knox. Cube him.
Cube him. Okay. Based on the tests on which I have made on over 4,000 suspected defectives in the last 18 months, he's defective. Can you speak English, Daniel?
Yeah.
Why do people get louder as if that would allow them to understand better?
Dude, I don't know, but I think it's just like a reaction. It's like, maybe he's not hearing properly. I should just speak louder.
Okay. So, it says here, I have made on over 4,000 suspected defectives in the last 18 months and many more made by my associates, ... All were considered sufficiently near the required standard to be allowed to pass, except 400 certified as feeble-minded and in a few cases imbeciles. There were several other tests presented in this paper besides the cube test. The cube test of 4 black 1 cubes were placed in a row, each cube separated by 4 inches from its neighbors. The test administrators take a smaller cube and taps on the 4 1-inch cubes and increasingly complicated sequences. The test subject is requested to, sometimes only by sign language, to repeat the sequence. If the cubes are numbered 1 through 4, the sequences in order are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3, 1, 3, 4, 2, 1, and so on. Knox suggested that the sequence is a 1, 2, 3, 4 is reasonable for a child of 4 years of age. Subsequence B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 is suitable for a 5-year-old. Sequence C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 can be accomplished by a 6-year-old. Sequence, mind you, how are you going to communicate this?
I have no idea.
You're just sitting there with your 4 black boxes. Get him
You're just hoping that the other guy is understanding you.
And so if he doesn't, then what? He's just like a feeble-minded.
Yeah. Of course. Dude, it's very simple. I don't know why you don't get Amanda. Come on. Is the retardation
That's
test.
wild.
That's how they did it. Well, that's wild for you, but not for them.
All right, what's the form board test? Let's gonna Google.
Dude,
The Goddard,
for that guy,
the
Knox,
Goddard
it was,
sequin
Tuesday,
form board.
You know?
Here we go. Let me look for it. Okay. All right. So the Goddard sequin form board. This puzzle is a pine base with 10 geometric shapes cut out of it. 10 oak pieces fit loosely into these holes. These shapes are a cross, a circle, a rhombus, a triangle, a rectangle, a star, a semicircle, a hexagon, an oblong, and a square. A label of the object reads, a label on the back reads, guidance, counseling, currently credit line. So hold on. Are they just supposed to fit the shapes into their corresponding?
I'm assuming. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Maybe they're just like, you have 5 seconds. Go! You know, like...
And if he doesn't do it in 5 seconds, well, he's retarded.
Dumbass.
People minded. Another one. Oh, man.
You know what this reminds me of? Here, I'll pull it up. And here you go. Hold on. I'm going to get content ID'd for this. For sure, dude. For sure, dude. All right, hold on. Where's my Chrome? Here it is. Okay. Have you seen this video?
Oh, yeah, I know it. Yes. I know it. It's amazing.
This is a square. Can you guess which spot that goes in?
The square.
That's right. It goes in the square hole.
Good
Yes.
job. It goes in the square hole.
And how about this rectangle? That one
Also the
that
square.
goes in there too.
Yeah.
Up next,
Okay.
we've got this thin rectangle.
The thin
Can you
rectangle.
guess where that goes?
The thin rectangle.
That's right. It goes in the square hole. And up next, a cylinder.
The circle.
I think that goes in
The circle.
the square hole. Now, we've also got this semicircle right here. Do you see a slot that would fit
The semicircle.
semicircle?
The semicircle.
That's right. It's the square hole.
Clearly an imbecile.
Up next, the triangle. We know what hole that goes
The
into,
triangle.
right?
The
That's
triangle.
right. The square hole. And up next, we have the arch.
The arch.
You guessed it.
The arch.
It goes in the square hole.
Dude, I always, it's like, I cannot watch that one
That's
without
right.
laughing. It's
It
like,
goes
it's
in
so
the
funny.
square hole. It just rips
Everything
you
goes
apart.
in the square hole.
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Lord Pinch says, why do people want government in their lives? I don't know. Did you get in your car today and obey traffic laws?
Yeah. Oh my God, that's so nasty.
Have you ever
It's
been
like,
in
why
a
should you
plane
obey?
before? Have you seen what FAA regulations are?
Amanda, can you
I
imagine
think we
going
should-
to the grocery store and buying a chicken
buying-
without salmonella?
Whoa.
Ugh,
Oh my God.
yuck.
That sounds like
ugh.
that sounds like an authoritarian nightmare.
Yeah.
I think it should be my choice to get salmonella.
Yeah, exactly. Where's the freedom? There's none.
No, if I get salmonella because I ate chicken, that's my fault. It's my fault that I got poisoned. You could choose to not eat, Daniel. Do you not understand?
Yeah,
Do you not
that is
get
a
it?
Choice indeed, I guess.
Dude, how do I leave
Also, like,
this
dude,
compound?
I hate the fact that when I go and drink water from the tap,
Yeah.
it doesn't have like poisons in it. Like
What?
lead,
Wait.
mercury, none. Can you
Why?
imagine?
Wait, why?
Dude, it's like
Why? What if I,
I don't know.
want
Like
it?
Romania is a very authoritarian country.
But
right?
what if
So
I?
It's like
What if I want?
no, our government just forces. Dude, can you imagine? They force under threat of violence.
What?
The water supply provider
That they have
actually
to give you
clean
clean
the
water?
Dude, it's insane. It's like, you can't even imagine.
Authoritarianism, obviously.
Yeah. No, I mean it's like we try to protest, but it's like we need to clean the water. We don't have time.
We have Warmish who would like to speak. We're gonna bring in Warmish. Come on up, Warmish. You're being invited.
Yeah, so like Amender, you made a take about Harry Potter.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I'm
did.
gonna
Somebody was bound to come.
I knew it.
well, I'm gonna no. I'm expanding on it. Because I agree.
Oh, you do?
uh,
You think it's written like shit?
Well, I think the hero's journey's written like shit.
Wait, hero's journey in general?
Yes.
Don't say
Like
bad
the way
stuff
it's
about Goku. We're gonna have a fight.
not okay. So I think anime does it okay. I think certain adaptation does it fine. I think the only one that's okay with it's the Hunger Games. But in terms of like the actual like way it's written, because we've had Harry Potter, we've had Star Wars, all of that shit. I do not think it's a good literature theme at all.
Why? It's fun.
Why?
Yeah, I like
number
Hero's
one.
Journey.
Okay,
I
so
don't mind
number
if
one.
something's Hero's Journey, but dude, let's be honest. Watching or reading Harry Potter is awful. It's just
So
they literally made the bankers just Jewish.
yeah. So yeah. So the reason I don't like the hero's journey is because I think it's been done too much. So like that's kind of my opinion. But then two, so this is gonna be very niche, but I like stories kind of like the Canterbury Tales.
Okay.
Or Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of lacking in that department of here, let's talk about like the aspect of humanity that's often kind of dark, but not we don't really make fun of it as much. And I think that's something solely missing. But also, like the other reason I don't like the hero's journey is because, okay, sure, you'll get let's use Star Wars for example, right? You'll have Luke Skywalker and he goes on this magnificent fucking journey, right? My issue is, other than the fact that you might see one or two minor issues with a character, a lot of them fit Mary Sue's. Right? So
Yes.
if I take Harry Potter, like you said, he's a fucking Mary Sue. Right? He might have issues, but there's no time in the fucking movies.
You call
where he's
Goku a Mary
wrong.
Sue. We're fighting. There's a fight.
No, Goku isn't. Goku isn't.
No, he's not a Mary Sue.
No.
In fact, he's imperfect to a
Yeah.
fault, I would say.
Yeah.
In fact, he loses all the time, actually.
Yeah.
He loses constantly, but
But I think,
everybody
like,
roots for Goku because
but I think the
Goku's
issue-
awesome.
But I think what the issue with the hero's journey is it's written in a way where if you do not show if you don't show major issues within a character,
Yeah.
they often become a Mary Sue's.
Well,
So,
that's
like, a great
literally,
example-
well, that's what a Mary Sue is a character. They have no flaws. They're a great character and they're perfect in every way. Harry Potter is literally that. And it drives me nuts.
Also, it's done. I mean, to me, it's an off-brand version of Star Wars.
Also, again, and I hate to drive it home, like,
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling was like,
Transphobic.
let's get the
And a shitty
goblins,
writer.
let's get the goblins with like hook noses and they're all bankers and they're all greedy and money hungry. And I'm just like, bro, this is just racism.
Well, it's racism, and then
They're
she's
just like, check
fucking
out this
transphobe.
cool racism. I
it
mean, the
cannot
transphobia
be
thing didn't even become a
anti-Semitism.
thing until much later.
Yeah,
Until
it
after
is.
she
It's
was done
pro-Israel.
reading all those
Ew.
books or writing all those books. Sorry.
And then the next question I have is a take that I have on Israel is I think it should be invaded by the UN.
Wow. I don't know what to think. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. I'm a kind of guy where I'm like, hey, let's have less violence overall. And I had to ask myself, okay, let's say if we had lived in a society where we invaded Israel with the UN versus society that did not, I would venture to say that society would likely be better to not do that.
So I agree with that. The reason why I do end up very much disagreeing is the way that I view governments that do genocide. So with what Israel's doing, right? They invaded Jordan, not Jordan. They invaded Lebanon. They invaded Qatar. They invaded Syria. They invaded Palestine. They've invaded so many other nations. They're aiding and abetting in genocide with the Yemeni civil war. They're aiding and abetting in genocide.
A disagreement with me there. With
Yeah,
that
no.
being said, I really hope this hostage situation, even though how very, very delicate it is, ends up positive for both the Palestinians and Israeli people. I really do. That's where I'm at with it.
I am too, but
And I don't even care if everybody thinks Trump did it, even though he didn't. He sent
Well,
somebody
the problem
to do
is
it.
they're already
Whatever, it's fine. I don't
breaking.
care.
They're
I don't
already
care.
breaking that ceasefire.
Okay, well, are they like already?
Yes,
Jeez.
they are. Yes, they are. They've
Why do you
been
gotta
breaking
give
it.
up my freaking hopes so fast. I hate it.
It's Israel. I mean, I'm sorry. Israel is a a colonizer state that wants to be greedy. I mean, like I'm just saying, the Israeli state itself is that way.
Gotcha.
But the reason I hold the UN take on it comes from not from a lack. It comes from an area of Myanmar, right? So some background. The Myanmar people, including professors and including people from their nation, in 2004 asked for a military.
Go ahead and continue. I am listening. I just I have to use the bathroom. It will not take me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Go ahead and continue.
Yeah, that's fine. Back in 04, I think it's 04, 05. So if someone wants to fact
feel
check
free
me,
to
go
fill
ahead.
the air, Daniel.
Sure.
But they had a military. They were asked to send UN people in there. And the reason why was because of the military, but also there were a lot of elements within the Myanmar system where they felt threatened that the Rohingya were going to end up getting genocided. Right? It's specifically the Buddhist temples and the Buddhists around that region, but also because of the way the military had slowly started to crack into the parliament. They were not given that wish. And one of the main arguments as to why, other than the fact that you had the vote was not even happened, was because the idea was, well, nations should not get intervened. While I do agree, I don't think, we should force democratic systems on anyone. It's the reason why I disagree with Iraq. What I do believe is if there is a reasonable suspicion that something horrible is going to happen or is happening, and that state is causing a bunch of issues for everyone around the region, I think that state needs to get either invaded or there needs to be enough pressure to stop that state from taking out those actions.
I feel like the invasion part is kind of like the problematic thing. I mean, you're not going to find an ally when you come to Israel. I do think Israel is modern-day Nazi Germany.
No,
There's basically very little difference between them. I recently saw, like today, I saw like this video on one of the biggest talk shows in Israel. It's a former prime minister, Moshe Feiglin, who is literally using what he thinks is a Hitler quote and agreeing with it. It's like, it is crazy. It's like they're doing it on public television.
I just feel like that
it's just the fact that they're not doing it in English.
I just feel like
by the way, Amanda, I sent you the video if you want to show it.
Which one?
Of the prime minister. It's the former prime minister.
I know who you're talking about, Daniel.
Moshe Feiglin.
He talked about there's him, and then there's a former Labor prime minister who straight up said Likud is just fascist.
Oh, let's take a look.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It's just it's an insane country, and they do a lot of like double speak in the sense that when they're talking in English, they're saying what the English world wants to hear, and when they're talking in Hebrew for themselves, they're just saying the reality.
I'm playing it right now. Ready? Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
זאת הארץ שלנו כולה, ועכשיו מי שהיה לו, היינו צריכים להסתדר איתו איכשהו, כי גם הוא ישב פה, וצריך להיות הומני, והכל נכון, והכל טוב ויפה. הראה שהוא מייצג את האסלאמו-נאציזם העמוק ביותר, כמו שאנחנו לא מבינים, כמו שברור לנו, שאנחנו לא יכולים איך אמר היטלר יימח שמו, אני לא יכול לחיות בעולם הזה אם יש יהודי אחד נותר בו. אנחנו לא נוכל לחיות בארץ הזאת עם אסלאמו-נאצי אחד
What the fuck?
Jesus.
That's just genocide.
הפכנו אותה לעזה העברית. אתה רוצה להפוך את עזה לעזה העברית? חד משמעית כן. כי אם לא, אם עזה לא תהפוך...
Is that actually what is being translated? That is wild, if so.
Yep. I verified it from multiple sources, and that's what he said. But they're very comfortable saying those things when it's in Hebrew, because most people obviously don't speak Hebrew, right? Yeah. And it's going to be for their own consumption. So when you're doing that, look, it's like terrible. I also saw today, like there was like this famous workout thing in Israel, like a YouTuber or something, and she was doing like a workout session with like a lot of young girls, right? And they were dancing on the May Your Village Burn song, which is an anti-Palestinian song, right? May your village burn.
Jesus.
I mean, it literally says exactly
Yeah,
what
it's horrendous.
it says, right?
Absolutely
It's
horrendous.
when you're going into that country, you're going to see it's like decades upon decades of indoctrination against Arabs in general, but Palestinians in particular, right? Like, because they literally just want to genocide all of them so they can have the whole thing just for themselves, because they think that that country is just theirs, that land is just theirs. That's why every time a Palestinian says from the river to the sea, they're complaining, saying, "Oh, that's a genocidal chant." But when Netanyahu or the Likud party is saying it, it's not genocidal.
Greater Israel, that's genocidal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in the camp that
they're having these maps. Sorry for interrupting them. They're having these maps in the background with like Greater Israel, which means parts of Lebanon,
Jordan,
parts of Syria, parts of Egypt, parts of a lot of other countries. And they're not ashamed to show it. They're not afraid to show it.
I'm just on the side that we just shouldn't have or support any ethno-states whatsoever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, Israeli, Palestinian, whatever. Like, you guys, we have a thing that we use to dispute land. It's called money. We give people money, and then we have a piece of paper that says, I own this land. And it doesn't matter if you're Jewish or Palestinian or any other race or whatever. And we can address socioeconomic ills on, who has access to the land versus not access to the land. That's a different discussion entirely. But the point is that we have systems to enable people to own land without the need of there being an entire ethno-state to hold it up. Like, I'm sorry, no culture needs that. And any culture that wants to pursue that, the world should look at that and go, we're against you. We are not going to support you. We're not going to help you. You need to go against what you're doing. Does that make sense?
Yep. For me?
Yeah.
Not for other people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm anti-ethno-state. The reason I believe in intervention, though, is because when you allow genocidal governments to continue their actions, all they're going to do is cause more genocide and more pain. I mean, for example, if we look at Rwanda, right? Paul Kagame. I know there are certain people that will defend Paul Kagame, but Paul Kagame was a part of the genocidal government in Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
And what he's doing, if you look at what he's doing to the Congo, he's been essentially trying to genocide Congo for years now. And he's causing a bunch of issues. If you look at Myanmar, like the Rohingya are still getting genocided, and it's causing major issues for Bangladesh right now. If you look at Germany did not just go after Jews. They went after gay people. They went after Slavs. They went after how many different groups of people.
The Roma population. Yeah, I mean,
the Roma
population is the second biggest group that was genocided by them.
Yep.
Not that a lot of people talk about them.
But the other reason, though, that I hold this take, funny enough, is the Balkans in the 90s, right? Where the Serbs were trying to build an ethno-state, right? They believed they should have rights to the land. And NATO and the UN came in, and they stopped Serbia. And within that mechanism, right, they did not make it where Serbia wasn't a nation anymore. I'm not calling for that. What I'm calling for is the UN comes in, you have peacekeepers surrounding the area, while at the same time the UN goes in and intervenes the government. The backing for this, by the way, is Israel would not exist, would have never fucking exist if it was not for the UN. If we go look at previous treaties, including the 1920s treaty that was originally going to be set up between Palestine and Jordan, or if we look at the 47 one, if we go look at the 60s, they were all in conjunction with many different other nations. Israel has clearly been seen as an aggressor, and if they, in my opinion, do not get stopped, all they're going to do is not only cause more pain and problems, but eventually what stops them from going after the Sinai province in Egypt? One of the most extensive areas, not only for global hub and trade, but also an area where you get a lot of materials from. What stops Israel from going into, let's say, Lebanon? Well, Lebanon, whether you want to say anything about Hezbollah, whether you want to say they're a terrorist org or not, Hezbollah's been the main people keeping that nation together, right? It's the reason why I don't think they're a terrorist org. I would argue they're more of a government political organization at this point. Or, look at Syria, where Syria was in a civil war since 2011, right? They're finally now out, but it has been heavily not only rumored, but in the news that Israel has been funding certain groups and is trying to cause commotion. So I think from a humanitarian perspective, not just humanitarian, but also from a law perspective, also from a morality perspective, if you do not go in and stop the fucking Knesset, because I would argue every Knesset politician is fucking evil. Every political party in there, except the Arab Party, is the only one that's okay. All of them have a goal, which is to not only nationalize, not only build up that land, but take over other aspects. That's why I hold that take.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot of pushback there. I mean, it seems to make sense to me. Though, I mean, my only disagreement is I don't agree with the UN going in, and we've already done that in the past. It hasn't resulted in beneficial outcomes. In order for me to argue in favor of something, I have to actually see that it's like, hey, it would do this beneficial outcome, and
So-
it just
so then why do you-
the risks far outweigh the benefits.
So, Aminder, where would you you say you disagree on it? Where does that disagreement, why do you not see
I
a
mean,
beneficial?
I think at best,
out of it?
I think I wouldn't be against the United Nations being a mediator, but invading, no. I think that's a step too far.
And then the other part is you said you don't think they did a good job. Why is that?
I mean, ever since the UN Charter agreements, I mean, it's just been broken over and over and over, and nothing has been done to circumvent that. The UN is toothless. It can't do anything.
Well, I mean, I would say that's a structural issue within the UN and the powers that the UN even has. I wouldn't say that's the
But even then,
problem.
it's like, it comes into the question, it's like, does the United States have authority to be speaking on matters like this?
No.
Like, I don't think so. And so therefore the UN wouldn't have authority to invade.
I would disagree with that because I would argue that there are very specific, especially people that set up the UN and people that are within the UN, including Antonio Gutierrez. I think it's Gutierrez, the guy behind who's the UN secretary, has authority to speak on that matter. The other reason why I would disagree is, yes, there's been issues, especially, if you bring up Rwanda with the rape cases or the failures to, enact stuff with including Myanmar. But that's why I think, number one, you get rid of the veto vote. No nation can veto. But then number two, I would say that's a moral failure. Because the way I look at it, right, as people that are left-wing, right, because, Aminder, I know you're left-wing, we want not only a better quality of life for people, but we also want people to be able to succeed in life. And I think when we have these nations, and whenever they do stuff like that, they're causing a lot of issues. Now,
Yes.
I get the take of invasion. It's wild, but I'm not necessarily saying you go in and you strip the nation. What I'm saying is you go in, you get rid of Bibi. You either have an interim government or you have some mechanism in place where Israel cannot carry out those things. And then over time, you allow the nation to be built back up. The other reason I argue that is in Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Herzegovina.
Thank you, Daniel. The way it's set up there, the UN mandated, I believe it's the UN mandated that the ethnic populations all have a representation within that system, and they do a rotational basis. And I think that would solve a lot of Israel's problems, especially when they claim that, it's not just for the Jews, even though Israel's foundation comes from the Torah. That's kind of where I have that perception from, or belief there.
Okay. I don't have anything else to say.
No, that was it.
Okay, Warmish. It was good talking to you.
Good talking to you.
The phones are open. Phone number is 202-998-5218. Call in. That was a discussion with Warmish about the foreign policy in Israel. I want to hear out what you guys got to say. Where are the right-wingers? I was expecting something more flagrant.
Yeah, they're afraid.
They're
They don't know.
eeping. They're having a sleepy.
Having a sleepy. Yes.
They're
maybe.
sleeping. Carter says, how much longer will this go? We got about an hour. We are taking calls openly right now, 202-998-5218. Call in. Let's have a discussion. I want to hear out what you have to say. Let's take a look here. In other news, I am trying to find loot in this game and having a hell of a time. Could not find how to get to this. It's underground.
You found everything.
It's underground. It's just
Nothing left to find.
It's just, I don't know where the underground passageway is. You know, I haven't gone in this location. Maybe I should give that a shot, I guess.
Well,
All
nothing
right.
to lose. I mean, except your life, you know, in the game.
Exactly. Let's see here. AWOL saying, call in, Carter. Raiden Jack says, right-wingers are at work. Are you saying that I went to work today? What do you mean? I worked. But then 5 o'clock
you
rolls
don't get
around.
it.
5 o'clock
No, you
rolls
don't get
around,
it.
and then what I do is I stop working.
No, Amanda, okay, you're not understanding what he's saying. What he's saying is that right-wingers are at work because they don't have the qualifications to have good jobs, so they have to have 2 of them.
I hope not. For their sake. I always thought that right-wingers, they tend to be more wealthy than left-wingers.
Well, it's more
right?
generational wealth rather than them
True.
being,
True.
you know. It's all those slaves that they used to have in the past.
Jeez. Actually,
know, man, it's not me
Daniel,
having
it
them.
was
They-
Democrats that owned slaves.
Right.
Right? Yeah. That's,
Yeah,
that's
we're
what
just
they're
going
gonna
to
say.
ignore the Southern strategy and the shift. Yes.
Actually, the Southern strategy never happened. EmperorFatassDogs told me himself.
Yeah, of course. And that's you know, when you have no education, yes, of
All
course
right,
you're gonna say.
Here we
that.
go. We've got Alpha Eagle.
Alpha
Great name,
Eagle.
by the way. You
It is.
libs claim to hate the U.S. interfering in regime change, yet didn't the last caller call for regime change? Well, you'll notice
No.
as a part of that quote-unquote regime change that I didn't advocate for that.
Yeah. Also, we also advocated for regime change in the case of Nazi Germany. Would
Yeah.
he disagree with that?
Could you advocate for
We really
regime
wanted regime change.
I'm gonna make myself some soda water. Just give me a quick second. We are taking calls 202-998-5218. Emperor Fat Ass Dog says Southern strategy has been debunked.
Yeah. By nobody. If you think the Southern strategy was debunked, you're just too far gone. It's like I cannot believe you're a real person if you're saying that.
No, Daniel, it's done.
It's done. It's been debunked.
I've disproved the
Libs.
Daniel.
Oh my god. It is amazing. It is amazing that people. I don't know how a person from like fucking Romania, can know things better than an American living in America. That, you know, you should be like more immersed into these things. And here you are, just like talking without even knowing what you're talking about. I don't know, did you only go to the Heritage Foundation website to look the Southern strategy?
Yes, and you're wrong, Daniel.
Pretty fucking sad. Yeah. It is so sad, man.
Told me.
Yes, the Heritage Foundation. They're the best news source available. Oh, no, maybe, actually, maybe he only got his education from PragerU. I forgot that PragerU now is considered to be educational.
PragerU is perfect.
Well, Amanda, your phone is calling.
I'm
Need
coming.
to answer, buddy.
I'm coming. I got all tab out. You're on the line with First Amender.
What's up? How you doing, buddy? How are you guys doing?
It's EmperorFatassDogs. Hey, FatassDogs, why don't you come on the Discord and talk with Daniel? I genuinely want to hear it.
All right. I will provide my sources and proof and evidence. All right, for everything, man. I got it all.
So we're gonna wait for that. Where is he? There he is. All right, let's bring him in. Let me mute the set myself away for the phone call. Hang tight. All right. Okay. So, EmperorFatassDogs, you do in fact believe that the Southern strategy has been debunked. You are muted, FatassDogs. Oh, he's server muted. Let me undo that.
Yeah. Oh. Hello. How's it going, guys?
Let's try that.
Yes, I do.
All right, let me try that
Yes,
again.
I
so
do.
So your claim is that the Southern strategy has been debunked. Yes?
Yes. And I have proof.
All right. Lay it on me.
All right. If the Southern strategy is a real thing, then how did Jimmy Carter win the election against Gerald Ford by a landslide in the South? That is factually true.
What does
And
that
was
have to
right
do
after
with the
Nixon-
Southern strategy?
Because it was right after Nixon's presidency. You claim that the Republicans were using a Southern strategy. So my question to you is, how did Gerald? Well, how come Gerald Ford didn't win the South?
All right, hold on a sec.
Why not?
All right. I don't know. Let's look it up.
Yes, let's look it up, man.
Sorry, I
because
was muted also. Oh my god.
Hey, how you doing, Daniel? Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
brother.
hello. Nice to meet you too. Did you see the Lee Atwater address to the Republicans?
What?
In the
I'm sorry,
interview, right? It's like there was like this 1981, I think.
So hold on,
1980.
I just want to be clear, right? So Gerald Ford, right? I'm assuming that's a Democrat, right?
The Republican candidate. Gerald Ford was the Republican candidate. Jimmy Carter was the Democrat candidate. And
Okay, so
Jimmy
you're
Carter
saying Jimmy Carter won the
South.
election in the South?
Yes.
Yeah.
He
You
did.
know why
Okay,
Gerald Ford
so-
lost?
How? Tell me.
Can I just tell you? It's like why Gerald Ford lost. What did Gerald Ford do that upset a lot of Americans? Do you know?
I can answer that question. He fired everybody in his cabinet and replaced them.
Nope.
That's
Nope.
one of them. That is one of them.
No. That's not the thing that actually upset a lot of people. There was one thing that he did that upset a lot of people, including Republicans.
Okay.
Do you know
Let's
what
hear it
that
on
thing
me.
was? Okay.
Lay it on me.
I'm going to tell you. He pardoned Nixon.
Well, okay.
And a lot of people, that's why he was unpopular. He was extremely unpopular for that one move.
All right. I have information
So-
for you.
Hey, hang on. I wanted to respond to that, Daniel. So wouldn't you say that would be a cultural change? They saw that Gerald Ford did that, and the culture was like, we can't have somebody doing that, and that's why
that had
they
nothing to do
outvoted
with
him?
No. That had nothing to do with like Republican Democrats. That had everything to do with corruption, right? Because people
Yeah.
back then actually cared about corruption, not like
Yes.
now. If that would have happened now, like the Republicans, for example, wouldn't have cared at all.
Okay, so you would say
They
the
wouldn't have
culture...
cared. Back
So
then,
you say-
people
go ahead.
still cared about corruption because you're not born back then. But Watergate was a huge scandal, right?
Yes.
Huge scandal, and most Americans actually believed that Nixon should have gone to prison, okay? And they were extremely angry and furious at Gerald Ford for actually pardoning Nixon, okay? Because when Nixon resigned, he resigned with this condition that Gerald Ford would pardon him, right? And that was behind closed doors, right? And a lot of Americans, to their credit, rejected that idea. So when you're asking me why Carter won against Gerald Ford, that's why.
Okay.
But again, coming back to the original thing, because again, it's like this: what you're doing right now, you're not debunking anything. You're just doing
Yes, I
kind
am.
of like whataboutisms, which aren't doing.
No,
they have
there's no
nothing to do with anything.
whataboutisms.
But I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read you something from Kevin Phillips. Do you know who Kevin
Are you
Phillips
gonna
is?
Are you gonna let me respond to you?
I want to make my case first, and then you can debunk it.
Okay. It's a long case, but let's hear it.
I don't know. I was just talking about because you asked a question first, and I responded to your question first. Why did
Well, if we're
Gerald
gonna talk, I get it. I get what where you're coming from. But my argument is it had there was no cultural impact on the vote at the time. Okay, there were multiple cultural impacts on like Democrat votes back in the '60s. There were cultural votes back then in the 1800s. But at this time, I don't think the culture at all affected it. So therefore, how can there be a Southern strategy? And let's actually get into Nixon's actual Southern strategy, okay? In his second election,
It
okay?
wasn't Nixon's
It wouldn't be
Southern
Nixon
strategy,
that
by
did
the
the
way.
Southern strategy.
It wasn't Nixon.
The Southern strategy
No.
was a response to the failure of Nixon.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Of course. And especially
They were
especially
looking, well, the
after,
Republican Party
the
was
Civil
looking
Rights
to
Act and
find
everything.
new voters as a result post-Watergate scandal. It was such a huge problem for the Republicans that they were likely going to lose every election after unless if they found new votes. In cometh the Southern strategy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's a Southern strategy. I would say it's a cultural
no, it's
thing.
literally what it was. That's what it was.
Because when Reagan came in and won in 80, okay, when he won in 1980, he won by a landslide, okay? There was no Southern strategy. Okay,
Listen,
Jimmy Carter won.
Let me grant you.
states.
Let me grant you this. Okay.
Okay.
It's a good question to ask. Why did Jimmy Carter win the South? So this actually has to do with the fact that the Southern strategy was not something that just happened all at once. Like all of a sudden, white Southern voters who were traditionally Democrat all of a sudden switched to the Republican Party. The reality is that there were numerous reasons why there were still Carter's success himself that showed that it was a strong piece of evidence that the political realignment was gradual and it wasn't immediate. There's a lot of factors that helped Carter win the South despite the rising Republican tide. So, number one, he was a Southerner. He would be able to present himself as if he was one of the original cultural, religious, regional areas. He identified himself as a Southern Baptist. He had an accent. He had roots in the region, and it gave him legitimacy in the South than a non-Southern Democrat would have had.
And he was governor of Georgia. And he was governor of Georgia and lieutenant governor before then. His credentials count more than that.
So the Republican brand had been tarnished by the Watergate's Nixon's resignation. President Ford's pardon of Nixon further damaged the public perception of Republicans. In 1976, many voters were looking for an alternative to the Republican establishment. That environment gave Carter a somewhat more favorable context in order to win over voters who might have otherwise have been open to Republican appeals.
Okay, I can understand where you're coming from. You felt like that conservatives in the South felt more aligned with Carter than they did with Gerald Ford, especially what Gerald Ford did with Nixon.
There's
well,
multiple
in
reasons
1976, the Southern whites, they remained, some of them remained loyal to the Democratic Party, either out of habit, there were local party loyalties, or because that they just trusted a local Southern Democrat more than a Republican outsider. That's why Carter won.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
the idea that the Southern strategy does not exist based on the fact that Jimmy Carter won is not correct. The Southern strategy, we can empirically show, did happen. There were direct people, as a result of the Nixon campaign, direct strategists that appealed to the Southern strategy. So we know it happened. We know it's a thing. They wanted to appeal to racist voters.
Was there a Northern strategy too? Was there?
Not really. Not really.
I
Why not?
And I'm gonna
know.
tell you why. I want to quote something. It's from Kevin Phillips. Kevin Phillips was one of Nixon's strategists, right? That ran his campaign. And by the way, who used the term Southern strategy a lot. Okay, and this is something that he said, especially after the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, that were passed by a democratic, legislature and presidency, right? He said this, right? He said, from now on, the Republicans are never going to get more than 10 to 20% of the Negro vote, and they don't need any more than that. But Republicans would be short-sighted if they weakened enforcement of voting rights. The more Negroes who register as Democrats, the sooner the Negrophobe whites will quit the Democrats and become Republicans. So what does that tell us? Well, it literally tells us that they were literally looking at this as like a type of electoral strategy, right? They were looking at this thing and say, it's like, wait a second, after they passed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, what is going to happen, the black population who were traditionally Republican will turn and just become Democrat, right? Because there is a form of loyalty, right, to the party that actually helped them, not be discriminated, right? And what he was saying is like, when that is going to happen, all these Dixiecrats, all these racist, all Democrats are going to look at, oh my God, it's like, what? I'm in a party with like black people. I can't do that, right? So they're going to shift from being Democrat to being Republican. That's why it's a strategy. It's not a mind control, right? It's a thing that takes time, right? It takes a bit to actually enact it, right?
I understand
and to actually see the results.
I understand your argument here, Daniel. It's a fair argument and a fair point, but what you're saying actually did not happen because during the Civil Rights Act, there were 21 Democrats that voted no on it. Okay, that is historically true. Yes. And out of 21 Democrats, how many of them? Do you know how many of them switched parties?
Yeah, but it's like what you're saying right now has literally nothing to do with what I just said about Kevin Phillips' ideas. No, it has nothing to do with it.
It really does.
No, it really doesn't. You know why it doesn't? Because in what Kevin Phillips said, in his strategy, the number of senators, for example, that voted against or for the Voting Rights Act did not enter the calculation, right? Because what he was saying, he was looking at the realities in the field, right? And what he was seeing in the field, he was seeing that more and more black people, or Negroes, how he called them, right, are starting to register as Democrats as a form of like loyalty, right? And thanks for the party that was in charge when they got their rights in this country, right? In your country, not my country. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. But
he was seeing that again, nothing to do with who voted for the Voting Rights Act or the Civil Rights Act. Nothing to do with that. He was just looking at the reality, and he was saying, "Wait a second. There's more black people starting to register Democrat, which means this will disenfranchise a lot of white Democrats, right? And they're going to need a new home." Right? All those Democrats that are going to leave the Democrat Party are going to need a new home. Well, we should be that new home. And we should become a bit more racist. We should become a bit more, nasty and just get them, right? And that's why it's like when you're looking at, all these Republicans, right? After that, they started to be more racist, right? Like from Nixon to, what's his name? Barry Goldwater and Ronald Reagan, right? They all did this after that.
Okay, but what you're not understanding is, man, all 21 of those guys that voted no on it, it doesn't matter because those guys were elected officials voted in by the people. Millions of people voted those people into office. Okay, they didn't get there just by filling out a job application. Okay. So they were voted by Democrat voters, and that's factually true.
Fat-ass dogs, I'm just going to ask you simply, right?
Yes.
You seem to acknowledge that the Jimmy Carter thing is well explained.
Yes.
So your explanation to why the Southern strategy does not exist was because of Jimmy Carter. Now that you know the reason why Jimmy Carter got elected, does the Southern strategy exist?
Do I think the Southern strategy existed? I think it was a cultural shift. Okay, it wasn't really a Southern strategy. I think it was more of a cultural shift.
We have
back in the day.
direct campaign officials that specifically referenced the Southern strategy when regards to the fact that the Watergate scandal was such a huge problem.
Like I said, it could have been a thing back in the day, but nowadays it's not a thing.
Okay, the reason why I brought up the Southern strategy was because what a lot of people will do is say, well, Democrats are the ones that wanted to keep slavery. It's the Democrats that want slavery. When in reality, that context doesn't really acknowledge the party shift that happened between the 1960s and 70s because of the Southern strategy.
All right. I understand your point on this. Okay, I understand that.
So
the Southern
under
strategy.
That basis, does the Southern strategy exist?
Do I think the Southern strategy existed? Well, okay. Now that you're talking about it like this, I thought you actually had a misconception of the Southern strategy because you actually explained it pretty fair and well. Okay, I thought you were gonna explain it because when I talk to people who are on the left, they usually explain it in a really wrong way. Okay, like they don't even explain it half the way that you just comprehended it. Okay.
Okay.
But a lot of people don't really understand what it is, right? I mean, it's like again, it's like even on the left, right? They don't understand what it actually was.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about it's like, was it a shift? Was it a cultural shift? Well, it kind of sort of was like a cultural shift when it comes to the Republican Party's essence, right? So it's like what happened in the Republican Party's essence is like the racists just won, right? Because the racists just saw an opportunity to actually get the power in the Republican Party and actually create a base that is going to be forever with them. Okay, because the Democrat Party just lost that racist base, those Dixiecrats, right? And if you're talking about the people that actually voted voted against the Civil Rights Act, and a lot of Democrat officials and elected officials, especially, they actually switched parties. Also, it wasn't just like the people, that started voting Republican. A lot of the politicians actually switched parties in that era.
Okay. But actually, there's
Especially
another
in the South.
point.
I wanted to make it clear.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you meant. You misspoke. But no, I just wanted to bring up another point. Here's why I asked you guys earlier about if there was a Northern strategy or not. I asked you guys if there was a Northern strategy because after Gerald Ford lost, 4 years later comes Ronald Reagan, and he won. He pretty much beat Jimmy Carter by a majority. Like he won the North twice by a majority. So that's why I'm asking you guys, do you think there was a Northern strategy?
No, I think like when it comes to Ronald Reagan, keep in mind, he was the governor of California. So despite him being a Republican, he kind of had this veneer of like, well, he's actually Republican, but he's like not as extremist, right, as a Republican. He's more like closer to the Democrats, right, than any other Republican, which was false, right, because he was really good at lying and actually duping people. So that's why people actually voted for him, right? And he just lied. He just said, oh, I'm going to make things so good. And, what really happened is like every ill that you have right now in the U.S. can be richly traced back to Reagan and his policies.
And here's a big misconception about conservatives. A lot of people think that we worship Reagan. I'm going to let you know right now, I don't worship Reagan, okay? In fact, I think he would be higher on my top 10. He'd be on my top 10 list if he did not sign the assault ban. If he didn't ban assault weapons.
So who is higher? Is
not
he
not the
higher
drug
than
war or
Trump on your
anything?
list or
With the...
lower?
Who do I think's number one?
Is Trump over Reagan or below Reagan?
I would say Trump is a little bit above Reagan.
Above Reagan, yes. I mean, this is the thing, right? So when you're saying that conservatives don't worship Ronald Reagan, you would actually be wrong if you're talking about Reagan before Trump, right? Because before Trump, kind of like, let's say, won the hearts and minds of the Republican Party. Reagan was deified by the Republicans. They were always looking back like, oh, the good old times when Reagan was in charge and he was doing this and that, right?
That's because they kept getting their asses kicked time from time until George W. Bush came in. Okay, first we had 8 years of Bill Clinton because let's be honest, George H.W. Bush was a failure. No new taxes, yeah, right. And then we had.
I'm sorry to break it to you because again, it's like I know a few things about America. You know who actually also raised taxes? Because if you're going to cry about George H.W. Bush, right? It's like you should also bitch about another guy that actually raised taxes because, he saw that he had to. His name was Ronald Reagan.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, but it's like, you see, it's like you said that guy was a failure because he raised taxes when the previous guy that you said is better also did the same thing.
Well, he didn't. Well, he didn't go on a podium and say no new taxes like George H.W. Bush did.
Oh no, he did. He literally did. He literally did say the same thing. No, you would be wrong. He literally did say he's not gonna raise taxes, and then he had to raise taxes because fuck it, when you're going to give tax breaks to the wealthy, just like Trump is doing, and all Republican presidents are doing, right? You have to raise taxes on everybody else, because otherwise you're not gonna get the money to actually run the country. It's something normal. That's how it goes. It cannot go another way.
It's been going that way for a long time, actually. 50 years.
It's been going that way for a long time. As soon as Republicans actually understood that it's good for them to actually cater to mostly the needs of billionaires rather than the needs of the working class.
All right. Okay. But, all right. I got to get going. But before I go, I'm going to tell you who was number one, in my opinion. George Washington.
Shoot.
George Washington.
Fuck me. It's like, dude, that guy didn't even care about being president, so I don't even know what to tell you. He was also a fucking racist piece of shit that took his slaves every 6 months from one state to the other to bypass the laws and to not free the slaves. So
I don't think he was particularly a good person at heart, but I think he was a really good leader.
Okay, so what exactly did he do as president that is so overwhelmingly positive?
I like his stance on neutrality when it came to the France and English war, when France took their king's head off. Yeah. Well,
so you mean the neutrality of not helping the country that actually helped him win the independence of the United States?
They didn't. Right? That was a new. That was a new government. So you mean
like backstabbing his former allies? Yes.
No.
I mean, that's what it is, right?
That was a new government, though. They overthrow the government they had the treaty with. And they create their own government, so therefore that treaty wasn't valid anymore.
Yeah, but the people that actually died to gain independence for America were not the king and queen of France. Were like the citizens, right? So when you're making this thing, you care about the citizens of France, right? So he should have cared about the French people that helped Americans get their independence, right? So that's why you're not backstabbing.
Well, you gotta understand, we weren't at the time. We weren't at it.
It was the war between France and England, right? It's like it doesn't matter what.
But you gotta understand. You gotta understand. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But at the time, we weren't in the position to help either side.
I mean, this is why it's called having bravery, right? It's like because even if you're not the best. It's like if you are brave, right? If you are brave, if you have courage, okay, you're going to do the best for your ally, for the person that actually did help you when you needed it the most, right?
Sure, but
when
you
gotta
understand
that is called being a coward. And
no, you don't You don't understand the circumstances at the time, man. Because at the time, we were in massive debt from the Revolutionary War. And we had to get our national bank, which George Washington got for us. And we had to, we pretty much had to clean up our fucking government because we had to change it as well because of the Constitutional Convention, our government was in shambles before the Constitutional Convention. We were in shambles. We didn't know. And they want us to fight a
but you
war.
see, this is the thing with help. You know what the thing
We
with
weren't
help
even a
is?
superpower. We weren't even a superpower at the
I know
time.
you are not a superpower. I'm very well aware now. I mean, you were not a superpower, but still, despite that, you could still invade Haiti.
So-
right? Like
so
very soon
we're gonna-
after you got your independence.
We're gonna call it, I suppose.
All right, later.
Yeah.
You have a great day. That was EmperorFatassDogs, everyone.
That's a nice name.
EmperorFatassDogs.
I mean, it is cool. Okay, come on. Sounds like the email you made
All right,
for
I am
yourself
off
when
of
you were
do
like
not
12.
I am off of do not disturb mode. Come call in 202-998-5218. I'm more than happy to have a discussion with you. Let's hear it. Anyway, I'm currently playing Stalker 2, and I'm trying to find the loot that's up on this roof. And I'm putting on my night vision. And it turns out night vision isn't so night vision-y. You're on the line with First Amender.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. All right.
Can I ask
give me a
who's
moment. Pardon?
Can I ask who's calling?
Oh, yeah, it's Carter again.
All right, Carter.
All
What
right.
do you want to talk about, Carter?
Yeah. Well, do you kind of recall what we had been talking a little bit about last time?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you give me a reminder?
Yeah, okay. So we were talking about DEI and some of those studies, and I understand, I think the guy before you was going, and it was kind of the end of the night, and so, you know, by the time that I kind of called in, it seemed to me as if you were like a little bit like getting ready to wrap up, and so I got kind of booted kind of quick, but you sound like you're in a good mood. And I've looked into some stuff. I have some notes here from last time that I just wanted to run by. Stop me if you have any objections with what I'm saying, okay?
Okay.
So first of all, you mentioned sociology as a field and how you think that a lot of sociologists would know the difference between cause and effect, which on an abstract level, I'm sure that they probably understand what that is. But actually, sociology, compared with other scientific fields, has one of the bigger replication crises. So like an open science collaboration paper found in 2015 that only 36% of 100 psychology studies were replicated, and that when they were, the effect size dropped by about half. A Moody paper in 2022 found that out of 985 sociology papers, only 6 even mentioned the word replication. So to put that into perspective, social science consensus actually does use a lot more correlational studies. It's a lot harder to measure a lot of these
What
variables.
is the replication crisis?
What?
What is the replication crisis to you? Because I understand that as a very specific thing that most people don't think about it the way that I do. So what do you think the replication crisis is?
Well, so it means that most of these studies can't be replicated, like I cited with the Open Science Collaboration paper in 2015.
That's not what that means.
So only 36% of 100 psychology studies were replicated, according to that paper.
Let me help you out. So the replication crisis is something that is well understood by modern science, in the fact that studies themselves, as we have learned more and more about the world, our knowledge becomes more and more specialized. We spend more time honing in on a specific thing that we do not know about. Take, for example, if we have, a particular flower that's found in Zambia that absorbs a specific protein at this specific time of year, for example.
Yeah.
This would have a problem in replication in the sense that not everybody can get a hold of this flower. And so the study itself
Sure.
doesn't get replicated because oftentimes it either requires some specialized knowledge or specialized tool that goes way beyond what other scientists would be willing or even capable of
you're right.
performing.
But the relevant piece here,
but here's
the relevant
thing, right?
piece here is sociology. That's the relevant.
Hold on. When it comes to sociology, there's a lot of very complex studies that require giant sample sets that make it very difficult to replicate unless if you plan on addressing the very same people again. So indeed, they do have a replication crisis.
Okay.
Now, does that mean therefore it's bad science? No.
No.
That's
I'm not saying that. So
okay, well, I just want to be clear because a lot of people, what they'll do is that they'll discount sociology.
I know, but can I say my point? So I don't think that sociology is per se a bad field, but I would just say it's not necessarily going to be as like rigorous as other fields of science. Do you know what like a hard science snob is? Like I'm a little bit of a hard science snob. I consider it a little bit of a softer science, right? So that's not to say that it doesn't have some value or something like that, or that it can't show you data, but it's just that often, because there are so many variables involved in these kinds of things, when you're doing them on a large scale, it's really hard to control for all of them. And also, the other thing is often... Do they
not attempt to control for other factors?
They attempt, but it's going to be typically much more difficult. And the other thing is you can't check if you did it.
Do you think psychology
properly.
Is that a valid field? Like
yes, sure.
But
these are valid fields. I'm just comparing them.
But here's the thing, right? I understand that you just called yourself a hard science snob, which means to me what that means is you discount soft sciences as
no, that's not what it means.
Not as valid as hard sciences.
Well, yeah. Well, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have value, right? So, for instance, if someone has an anecdote,
no,
that
I
would
didn't
hold
say
less value.
I said not as valid as hard sciences. Do you believe that?
Well, it depends how you define the term valid. I mean that it doesn't have...
come on.
I'm serious,
like, let's
man.
not play the definitional game. What do you mean?
I'm
what
not actually
context
trying to
would
play a
me
game.
saying valid versus not, or what context where there's a definition of valid that you're referring to versus what I'm referring to? I'm going to flip that out on you. What do you mean by valid?
Okay, so what I mean is if someone had a anecdote of something that happened, that would have an amount of validity.
I'm not asking for an example. I'm asking for a definition. Because for you, for whatever reason, you're asking for the specific definition of valid. So I ask simply, if you have a specific definition of valid where one of them would make sense to you and the other one would make less sense to you,
so
which one does make sense? What's the definition of valid for you?
Sure. So I would say the overall explanatory power of like a sociological paper would be lower than like...
That's another example. That's not explaining to me your definition of valid. So I'm going to go back to it, right? Because obviously we're not really actually interested in what the definition of valid is. What we're actually interested in is whether or not that you discount sociology as not as valid as traditional hard sciences, as you called it. I think that's silly. To say that, like,
hold on. I think you're misrepresenting my position a little bit.
Okay, so, so then don't obfuscate when I'm trying to talk to you directly. I give you a very simple question. Don't obfuscate it by asking for the definition of a commonly used word. Answer what I'm trying to ask you. I'm asking you.
I'm
do
trying to
you
engage
consider
with you in good...
sociology to not be as valid as hard sciences?
In the sense that it would have less explanatory power. It's not that I don't think it could be a relevant thing to cite, though.
And if it does have high explanatory power in the soft science, then you'd be okay with it?
Well, I'm saying it being a soft science inherently means it has less explanatory power. So I'm not.
Okay, well, one example.
And it's a relative comparison.
Okay, would you say, does the... Let me see here. I'm blanking on the name of it. Hold on.
I just want to give my earlier analogy. So, like...
I'm trying to think of the name of it. Hold on. Yes. So, would you say is the placebo effect, is that something that is that valid to you?
Yes, that's real.
All right, but that was discovered using a soft science.
Yeah, so I'm not saying a discovery is wrong because it's a soft science. So think about it like this, okay?
Well, you said overall it has bad predictive modeling. Yet when I bring up a model that is very clear in its prediction, you have no problem with it. Which means that if there is a soft science that leads to predictive outcomes, then you would be okay with that soft science. In order to remain logically consistent, you would have to acknowledge that.
Well, no. Well, so yeah, and I think I've said that from the outset, that I'm not saying sociology being a softer science inherently disqualifies.
So I just want to let
from
you know
research.
right now, that's all of soft science. That's every single soft science. Soft sciences require predictive capability. And if it doesn't align with reality, they throw it out and come up with another idea. That's what soft sciences do.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that that's the aim, but here's the thing, right? Here's one of the issues is that, for instance, let's say I'm studying a big phenomena, some kind of policy decision or something like that. There would be a lot of variables that you could use to explain it. And the thing is, right, is once you're done, there's no way of really verifying it. Like if I'm building a rocket ship, I know if my rocket ship works or not, right?
That's not true. It can be corroborated with additional study, and it is commonly all the time. And in fact, these soft sciences have to end up discovering the same thing across each separate field.
So, yeah, but I mean, so do you mean to tell me that you think that there's no difference in between physics and sociology, and that
I didn't say that there wasn't a difference between physics and sociology. I didn't say that there was no difference between physics and sociology, but sociology definitely does provide a great deal of predictive power. It does. And what I'm trying to
doing a relative comparison.
The reason why I'm pushing back against the idea is well, this is a hard science, this is a soft science. It's really, really common for people to make that argument in the sense that they feel that there are fields of science that they fundamentally don't agree with for whatever political reason, and so the only way that they can try to answer for the cognitive dissonance is that they wholly discount all of social sciences and say, well, it's not as valid as hard science.
Yeah, so that's not what I'm doing here, though. I don't think that's my argument. I actually think we agree more than you think. So what I'm saying here is not that sociology has no explanatory power. I'm doing a relative comparison between sociology and other disciplines, and I cited specific figures on how a lot of those studies, with regard to their design, do have an issue with the replication. So, don't you think it would be concerning if out of 985 sociology papers in the American Journal of Sociology, American Sociological Review, and Social Forces, that between 1970 and 2020, that only 6 would even mention the word replication? I think that would be fairly concerning, right? That would be a problem kind of baked into the design.
No.
Now, that's not to say... No?
Correct.
But you agree with me, right?
No, I don't agree with you.
So what's the issue with what I said there?
Well, because when you understand in the terms that I've laid out regarding the replication crisis, you realize, oh, this is like a nothing burger. People are just using this to wholesale discount entire fields of science.
No, because with regard to other disciplines, there is I'm not saying that the replication crisis can't exist universally, but do you think it exists within each discipline?
What makes something a soft science versus a hard science?
I think that a soft science. Well, so it's a really a relative comparison. So there's not going to be like a clear line of delineation.
There is a clear line of delineation.
Oh, so you have a definition you're already operating under?
Yep.
Okay. Well, tell me what you mean then.
A soft science is dictated on too many variables to take into account. When, for example, you're referring to, say, the social aspects of the human mind across cultures, that would likely be a mix of sociology as well as neurology. This would be a soft science. There's thousands of variables to take into account regarding anybody's experience regarding the human mind. Does that make it any less valid? No. It just means that there's a lot of variables, and you have to often extrapolate or simplify things in a way that lead to an explanatory power. And it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, we have lots of other people doing the same exact thing, or they're trying to discover something about that particular portion of the field. And then they are able to find, after their discoveries, something that possesses explanatory power, and some will have greater explanatory power than the other. That's what becomes the consensus.
Okay, but do you not think it would be concerning if the effect size is reduced by half?
When it comes to, say, a physics paper, you could take, for example, 10, 20, 30, 100 variables. Right. And in the math, in the equations, it's even less. 1, 2, 3 variables to take into account. Very, very easy to at least address. When it comes to sociology, there are thousands. And so that's what makes it a soft science. There's too many variables to take into account. And so they have to extrapolate. All right. And so that's the difference. So, but this doesn't make, again, the soft science any less valid. And also, just FYI, physics also has huge replication crisis. Why? It's really hard. It's really hard to get a CERN 2.0, right? It cost billions of dollars to make CERN 2.0. You're not going to be able to replicate those experiments properly unless if you did make a CERN 2.0. But we look at, say, the current quantum model, the dominant model, and we acknowledge its existence, and and we use it in studies because it has a great deal of explanatory power.
Yeah. So let me just give you a quick series of questions. Okay. So do you agree with me that these studies are conducted by humans?
Yes.
And you agree with me that humans can make mistakes, right?
Yes.
And do you agree that that the more variables that a person would either have to account for would amplify the possibility of a potential mistake? Do you agree with that statement?
Repeat that. I didn't follow.
Yeah.
That.
Do you think that the more variables? Do you think that the more variables within a study would increase the chance that the human conducting the study will mess up on at least one of the variables? Like there might be something that they're not accounting for, or they might account for one improperly if there are more of them.
No, you extrapolate and simplify. That's what you're doing.
Well, yeah, but okay. So
Right?
do you think
Because
like
there's
let's
too many
say
variables to account for. You just try to single out common covariate factors, and then get to a result.
yeah? So I'm asking you if you have the same scientist doing a similar discipline, and he's doing one study that has say 5 variables versus one that has 5,000. Do you think it is more probable that he will mess up in the latter?
Mess up? Like, no, it's about the same. You still have to match through peer review. And so people are going to be checking your work to determine whether or not that it works.
Well, I mean, have you not seen, yeah, but I mean, even peer review, if they're, sure, that helps, but let's say that they're verifying everything. Is it possible that there can still be some error that would be maintained past peer review?
Sure.
Like, is that logically possible?
Yes.
Okay. And if you have to peer review even more variables, would the chance not go up the more variables that there are that you're peer reviewing?
Like more error yeah, sure. Things can be more
Yeah,
error prone
so
with more variables, sure.
Okay. So then wouldn't the necessary conclusion be that if a discipline involves a lot more variables, the chance of error, like the chance of an important variable not being accounted for or miscalculating one of the variables would increase as you would increase the amount of variables?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's all I'm saying, is that social science has more variables because it's doing these really complicated things.
Do you understand the
And then
difference
also,
the difference is that I don't discount sociology as like less valid because there are more variables to take into account for. What I do is I acknowledge, okay, there's predictive power behind sociology. I pay attention to sociology because I know it has predictive power, just like I do any other science, from economics, the soft science, psychology is soft science, sociology, soft science. We take all of these things for granted and even take them very seriously and even form policy decisions around the soft science.
Sure.
It's just as valid as a physics paper.
Okay, sure. Well, so what I would say is that I also don't have like an issue with sociology as a discipline, but I just
just recognize it as not as valid, which means you have an issue with it.
It would necessarily be more prone to error if there's more variables involved. So I think it would be important
that doesn't make it
as a layman
invalid.
to really scrutinize the
doesn't
data,
make
right?
it
Do you
invalid.
agree with me that we should scrutinize the data? I agree with you.
Listen, specifically, unless if you are trained in that field, no, you should not be scrutinizing the data. Absolutely not.
Well, no, shouldn't I be figuring out because don't I need to interpret it and figure out how it would even be applied?
No, what you need to do is listen to people who do understand it and then interpret it.
Well, yeah, but the data. But the data doesn't give you a policy
You're not a
prescription,
trained sociologist.
Right? I'm not. But the data does not give you a policy
So when they're trying to tell
correct?
you some
Do you agree with me
covariate
that the
factor,
data does not give you a
I
policy
don't even think.
prescription?
Stop, please. When, for example, the data is trying to tell you that there are other covariate factors, right? That word doesn't even mean anything to you. Why? Because you haven't studied it. You don't know what it's all about. It's like you pick up an algebra book and you're in elementary school learning arithmetic. You wouldn't know what's going on. So no, you're not equipped to critique it or even question what it is saying. You just need to, you can try to read it and do your best to try to understand each word that's being said. But ultimately, in order to critique any of these papers, you need to be trained in that particular field. Otherwise, you're literally a caveman banging rocks against sticks. Like you don't know what's going on.
Well, yeah, so my argument is not that you should necessarily dismiss these things without having any knowledge, but it is that people should probably look at these tests and at least or these studies and at least try to understand the data that they're looking at. Now, it's true that not everyone necessarily knows those terms. That's true. But like, if these things are important insofar as we are making policy prescriptions using these things, it's important that we have more than a surface level understanding of what these things would say, right? Like, we would have to at least look at it a little bit and have a rudimentary idea of what they're getting at,
the scientists who are actually experts in the field to translate it for laymen to understand, which is typically what happens regarding sociology or any other science for that matter.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so I agree.
I'll read a paper, but heck no, there's no freaking way I'm going to be equipped to be able to critique that paper. There's no freaking way. I mean, the only critique I could potentially provide would be like, oh, look, who's funding this paper. That would probably be about as far as I could particularly go in terms of like trying to discuss their variables, their factors, like everything that's wrong with the particular paper or their methodology. I would, and this is coming from somebody who has his bachelor's degree, and I've read lots of papers.
Yeah, but I mean, if you had knowledge on a specific area, right? Like, if you did understand those terms, then you would be able to come up with a critique, right? Like, we're not just going to do credentialism.
No. Well, if you are also educated in the field, a lot of people, what they are is that they'll be like armchair educated, where it's like, I'm armchair educated, by the way. I have no doctorate.
Okay.
I'm not an expert in my field. I mean, I know a good deal of computers, but I would like compared to what? Like a computer science professor who is a doctorate in computer science. I don't stand a chance. I don't know anything. I just have a bachelor's in management of information systems. I have no capability of handling somebody who's at that level.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, the way I think about sociology or something like that is like, is like, if you had a sample size of say 3 people who were like, hey, First Amender called me a mean name at the park or something silly, then I would say, okay, that seems like, decent evidence. But if I had 10 people who said it, then that would be even better evidence. And that's how I consider sociology. So I'm not saying that it doesn't predict things. I would just say that that there are some issues when you get into really large social phenomena because of just the sheer amount of variables. And then I think that and as I've shown you, like I think that a lot of these studies do run into issues where their effect sizes will actually decrease. So like a lot of the R values that they'll have will be halved according to the Open Science Collaboration, and also, I mean, here's the other thing too, right? Is like if one of these studies comes out and it has a pretty low R value,
bro, what is an R value?
Wouldn't that be kind of problematic? What
is an R value?
Yeah, an R value is the measure of probability. Or, well, more accurately, like the measure of like variance, I suppose.
What is the why don't you express to me your correlations? What is a high, strong positive correlation or strong negative correlation? What are your what numbers? What are the ranges of R values?
Yeah, so like if you had an R value from like 0 to 0.05, that would have like virtually no effect. If you had one of about 0.1, that'd be like tiny. So that's going to be, I think, like about like 1% variance. If you have 0.2, then that's going to be smaller. About
0.1 is a 10%
variance.
Variance, but okay.
What?
A 0.1 would
I
be
said
10%.
1%.
It's anywhere between -1 and 1. Right? A 1 would be a perfect positive correlation, as in one increases,
no, it said
the other one
0.1.
also
I said
increases.
0.1, sir.
If you're talking about a -1, it's a perfect negative correlation. If you're saying
Yeah,
0.1, that's not a 1%. That would be 10%. 0.1 is 10% of a 1. If you wanted 1%, it would be 0.01.
Well, no, I'm talking about percent variance.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to point out to you that...
I understand that would be 10%. I'm just talking about the percent variance, though.
Yeah, all I'm doing is saying, listen, you're not formally educated, right?
I clearly understood what our values were. Like, that was trying to be an ambush question, and I knew what it was.
It's not an ambush question. I'm simply saying you and I are not equipped to critique these papers. Wouldn't you agree?
Listen.
Wouldn't you agree that we are not equipped to critique these papers?
Well, I would say that we have to have some lens for interpretation, no? I'm not
the
saying
best that I could do for a lens of interpretation would be I listen to an expert that is explaining in a layman way that I can understand, and then I can interpret it based on that. That would be my interpretation or your interpretation.
Yeah, so, I mean,
so I ask you again, are you equipped? I ask you again, are you equipped to critique these papers?
Listen, you're gonna hate me for saying this, okay? But I actually do need I am engaging with you in good faith here. I'm gonna need a little bit more granularity, okay? I really would like for you to define what do you mean by equipped.
I mean, be able to read the paper, fully understand everything that is going on, and be able to understand
fully understand
co-founding factors.
You wouldn't fully understand
no, you would not. Exactly. You're not
you wouldn't
equipped.
fully understand it. But there could be portions
just
that you would
FYI,
understand, right?
Yeah, sure. So FYI, we are not equipped to critique these papers.
Yeah, well, if you're saying critique means to fully understand it. What I'm talking about, though, is how I would interpret
oh my goodness,
the paper. Yeah, so I'm talking about if I were to look at the value, I would at least need to have an idea of what that would mean, right?
All right. How about this? Equip is just referring to we are supplying you with the necessary items for a particular purpose. In the sense of what I'm referring to is that you are already supplied with the necessary knowledge for the purpose of that paper.
Yeah. So
are you equipped to being able to interpret that paper, these doctorate level papers?
You wouldn't be able to understand the entirety of it, but there would be some parts that some people who...
I need you to shake whatever we just said earlier and rethink it and realize what I'm referring to I'm referring to the necessary knowledge. Do you have the necessary knowledge to critique the papers?
Not the totality of it, no.
Yes, wholeheartedly. Well, you should, in order to be intellectually honest with ourselves, the only way that you're going to be able to critique a particular paper is if you yourself also have a doctorate in that field. That's the only way.
I don't think necessarily.
100%. Because you don't know what you don't know. When you are taking, say, a college courses to get a doctorate, you're going to be taking classes that you wouldn't necessarily know about if you were informally educated. The only way that you're going to be operating at the level of a doctorate is if you actually went through the course material required in order to get into that field.
Well, if you understand,
in fact, the only way that you can even get a doctorate is that you have to have a dissertation of some novel thing in that field. Meaning, in order for you to have that doctorate, you have to understand that field in its entirety, because that's where other doctorates are at. They fully understand the field that they're in, and they're discovering novel, new things as a result of that. That's what makes them a doctor. So,
well, sure, but
so
would you
again,
agree with me
when a
that
paper
someone-
is released and they're giving you this information that they've spent all that time learning and discussing, us sitting there critiquing it, we're morons. We have no idea what's going on.
Well, I'm not even really framing what I'm saying as a critique. I'm just saying. So for me, it's interpretation, right? Like, you don't have to understand the totality of something to understand certain parts. For instance, if I read a paper that said, whatever variables they're measuring, say it had an R value of 0.7, I would say, okay, that's pretty decent predictive power, right? So and that also means, conversely, that if it had a pretty low R value, like 0.02, I could be like, okay, well, this seems like kind of low predictive power. So if someone prescribed something based on that data, I would say, well, the predictive power of that seems kind of low. That's more what I'm saying. I'm not framing it as a critique, just to clarify.
Okay, well,
does that make sense?
Okay, well, saying something is a soft science is kind of a nothing burger, number one. Number two, super triggering for me in the sense that whenever I hear somebody say that, I go, okay, they're discounting the science in order to ignore it. Every single time.
Well, I mean, didn't you agree that soft science is a thing?
Yes, but it doesn't make it invalid. It's
I
perfectly
agree
valid.
with you.
There's nothing wrong.
I think we agree here.
With soft
I think
sciences.
we agree. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing it out. Anyway.
Anyway, that's all I have for you.
Well, no. So I wanted to actually get into. I feel like we went on a very long tangent
We're
here. I wanted
actually
to get
35.
Into the
We're 5 minutes past, but I would like to have a further conversations if you want.
Okay.
But we should probably end it here.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I can call in on another one or something.
Yep.
But I was just going to walk through why a lot of the commonly cited DEI stuff, it doesn't even purport to be causal.
Okay, well, don't use as your argument that social sciences are soft sciences. That falls.
Well, they
very
are.
Much
We agree, though. We agree. They are.
That definitely. Well, it is. It's a nothing burger. There's nothing there. It's just you're just trying to discount it by saying it's a soft science. It's worse than a hard science. It's silly.
Why do you think someone created the term soft science? Like, why was that a
I don't
relevant
know.
designation?
I'd have to Google that. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Give me a guess.
I don't know. I have to Google it. I genuinely have no idea.
I think it's because that they were trying to differentiate these disciplines and what they would have the ability to explain or not explain. No?
Gotcha.
It's like there's different forms of evidence.
It was a good talk, Carter. I will talk to you later.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye.
What do you think of that, Daniel? What do you think of that?
I mean, he has strong opinions. I do think he is a bit wrong when it comes to even the replication crisis. And
did I hit the nail on the head on that one?
To nitpick.
Did I hit the nail on the head on that one?
Of course.
Yeah,
dude. I was literally thinking about the CERN thing, like a few minutes before you actually said it. I was like, okay, because that's also kind of like a replication crisis because we don't have a way in which to actually replicate those things, right?
How are you going to replicate what's going on at CERN? Like, I'm sorry, do you have like billions of dollars just lying around where you can just you could check whether or not CERN's doing good science? Like, it's of course you don't. So what do you do? Oh, okay. Do you just throw out all of CERN's stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I know he didn't say to throw it all out, but that's the problem is like you just come to that conclusion and it's,
you see, it's like, I think you hit the nail on the head in the sense that, people are talking about the replication crisis, like a lot of other things in science, they don't really understand what it refers to. And then they're using it as a cudgel against some political things they want to talk about, like DEI. Right?
Yeah, they're just like, well, it's a soft science, so it's bullshit. Yeah. Really common. Yeah. Anyway,
and that's really, it's really not okay for people to do that, in my opinion.
I agree with you, and well, that's our show for today, I suppose. Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah.
It was a good show.
I hope everybody else did too.
I love these shows. They're great.
There were like a lot of good conversations today, right?
There were. Honestly, I think
except the drunk guy. The drunk guy was.
The drunk guy was bad. That guy was bad. That was bad.
But everything else was pretty good.
I really wish. I want to hear what Nobody sounds like without him being drunk. Like genuinely,
Same.
like I would like to hear him like make a point without being sloshed out of his mind. I want to get sloshed out of my mind.
Doesn't it?
And I don't for these because. Oh man!
You want to have like drunk streams,
Dude, I've done those before. I got this one time. I got so freaking drunk. It was insane.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, but it feels good, You're just
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find. I got so freaking drunk, dude. It was wild how drunk I got. Let me see if I can find it. It was back when I was playing. What was it called? I was playing Legend of Dragoon. And I was like, screw it. I was scheduled for a modern day debate, but screw it. We're doing
I do remember
Legend of Dragoon and getting drunk.
Was canceled.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember it. Oh man, you should probably do again like
I think I found it. Hold on.
That challenge.
I think I have it. Hold on. Is this it? Hold on.
Do you remember the challenge that you had?
Oof.
I mean, with the what's it called? Like Uncle Fester's
and somebody else. He's like, hey,
or whatever.
Hold on. Uncle. Yeah. Oh yeah. The drunk stream. Yeah. That was wild.
No. It wasn't the drunk stream. The Uncle Fester's like the sodas.
Yes.
Like the
they're awful.
Juice soda. And...
Those are awful.
Yeah.
I don't recommend. Do not.
You should like similar ones.
Oh, okay. Here it is. Yes, I found it. You do this. I found it, guy. Oh my god. This is a bit of a bonus clip, but it is so freaking funny. It is so funny. I start this stream. Okay, we're going to be doing a little bit of a inception here because it's like literally just me streaming on me. It's so anyway, we're going to have to tolerate that. But I just want to share it with you because it is so freaking funny. This is when I was supposed to debate Rachel Wilson and ended up not debating. Okay, so I'm going to make it small so it's like very clear, like, who's talking versus not talking, because you're going to just like hear my voice twice. Anyway, all right, so here's where I start as, right, completely sober. Here we go. Just listen to the voice. Here it comes. It's coming. See how it's
literally
like
the same shirt.
Yeah, just like same shirt too. Yeah. So here you go. On the debate, as is, nothing else. All right. You can tell I'm completely sober here, right? You can tell. All right. Now, are you ready for the drunk?
Let's go, man. Let's go.
I'm sorry. This is excellent. Here we go. Wanted Rachel Wilson, but here we are watching Majora's Mask. The move. Yeah, I know. I thanks, Tattle. I got it. Look how drunk I am. The people watching the stream know. They know. They know. Okay? Look at that. Watch. Look at this. I do this move in this game where it's like I just completely, just totally out of it, and you can tell. Like, here we go. Yeah, I know. No. It's a song of time. I know. It's song of time. I gotta do a song of time. I know. No. Ba 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 ba. I know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know the song. Ba 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 ba.
By
the way, okay, just FYI, I have this is my famous blue cup. I fill it with ice, right? And I usually put this much rum, like almost halfway at the bottom, and the rest is Coke with a squeezed lime wedge. I think by this point, I had 3 of these. So
you're just going wild.
Yeah, just imagine basically 10 shots of rum is basically what. All right, here we go. Come on, let me do the thing, a fucking song. Yeah. Moon coming down. All right, we're all dead. I get it. Yeah. Too bad. Here's this part where it's like, I'm just such an idiot.
That
Right,
was
here
crazy.
comes.
That was crazy.
I think, like, what am I doing here? Like, right. I'm supposed to shoot him, but check this out. Like, I don't know what drops the ocarina. Oh, it's a magical. The ocarina drops, and therefore. So I picked up. Okay, get this right. Ocarina, and then there you go. I pick up the ocarina, but I'm almost. Come on. But I swear to you, I like completely blacked out that I picked up the ocarina, right? Like I definitely picked up the ocarina, but I was so drunk that I didn't even realize that I had already picked up the ocarina. So watch what happens like right after this scene. It's so freaking funny. I know. Yeah, give me the ocarina so I can do the ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba.
That is crazy.
Yeah, ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. I remember ba 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 ba. And I screw it up.
Dude. Oh my god, that was so.
Oh my god.
Imagine
this is why I do not drink for debates. It would be horrendous. It would just be a nightmare. Especially this drunk. Like, I'm almost positive. I think I vomited after this. I'm almost positive that I did.
I hope not.
Let's see. All right. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Now we know. Watch, I'm gonna look for the ocarina. Watch me. You do the spell and then boom. Okay, the Skull Kid. No man, no more. I'm still looking to drink. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm looking at the mask guy. Come on. Hey, got your ocarina back? Hey, God's time, help us, please. Look at this. I'm like, wait, what? Where's the ocarina? Fuck. Where's the ocarina? And I'm thinking maybe I gotta hit him. I'm like, wait, what? Where's the ocarina? Daniel. This is bad.
You need to do like a weed one, you know?
This is bad. This is really bad. Oh, the weed one? Oh my god, that would be a nightmare. Is that even legal? Can you even like smoke weed like on? Hold on, Rowdy is saying fake drunk. No, dude. No,
he was drunk.
I was drunk. 100% was drunk. All right. Listen, this was fun. I had fun. Did you guys have fun? We're gonna end it. But Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. You know, we got more content coming up, you know, and honestly, looking at kind of my older content makes me think, you know, I think that the streams have improved. I think they've gotten better. What do you think?
Obviously.
We're
Like,
getting
you know,
more
like
into
anything,
kind of
if you're
a...
doing it for more and more time.
Yeah, kind of a groove of it, and yeah, that's pretty fun. I gotta play... I gotta play Majora's Mask again. I gotta play some of these old games some more. I've been just playing like super new games and stuff.
Play the new games. Play all.
Why?
The new
Why?
So you gotta be hip like the kids.
Gotta be hip like the kids. What? I gotta play the Fortnite.
The Fortnite.
Fortnite. Would you want to play
No,
Fortnite?
it's not Fortnite. It's the Fortnite.
I want to be Goku fighting SpongeBob. I don't know, dude. I don't know Fortnite.
No, I never played Fortnite. So
Yeah,
I
Fortnite's kind of weird, man. I don't know about that. Anyway, okay, all right, we're ending. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great